Tuesday with someone inside the home in the 600 block of West Nippersink Road. There was a struggle over a gun that he had brought. During that struggle, the gun went off and the wife was shot in the head. She was hospitalized in critical condition and her unborn child died. Quinn has been charged with involuntary manslaughter of a child and reckless discharge of a firearm. Federal officials say that air monitors recorded dangerous levels of brain-damaging manganese near a storage facility on Chicago's southeast side. The Tribune is reporting that the high manganese levels at Watco Transloading were found by the EPA this fall as part of a probe of companies that supply raw materials to steel mills in northwest Indiana. Mayor Emanuel laying out his dream plan to help the city deal with the growing pension crisis. The lame duck mayor yesterday speaking to the city council, proposing using revenue generated by legalizing marijuana and opening a casino to help fund pension payments set to increase by $1 billion annually in 2023.
Simply put, leaders in the past made commitments without the resources to back them up. And now, inevitably, the bill has come due.
In addition, he's called for a state constitutional amendment to allow a reduction in public worker pension benefits. Meantime, the mayor is suggesting a Port District site on the far southeast side as a possible location for a Chicago casino. The mayor floated the area of the International Port District near Pullman. Several Chicago aldermen are seeking to strip Councilman Ed Burke of his control of the city's workers' compensation system. A proposed ordinance considered by aldermen was introduced at the city council session that would place the $100 million per year program under the control of the Corporation Council, ostensibly the mayor's office. The action comes almost 2 weeks after federal agents raided Alderman Burke's office. Unionized flight attendants are set to picket at O'Hare today. The demonstration is being held to protest looming staff cuts by United. It's one of a dozen across the globe. A suburban Chicago police sergeant charged in September with taking part in robberies of 2 gas stations at gunpoint is resigning. Rosemont Police Sergeant Edward Karras has been suspended without pay and was facing termination hearings today when he quit his job. State Comptroller Susana Mendoza criticizing fellow mayoral candidate Toni Preckwinkle for challenging her campaign petitions and those of 4 African-American women in the race. The Illinois official also says she has more than enough names to get on the February 26 Chicago election ballot and called the challenge of her signatures shoddy. Cook County leaders are also repealing a tax break on parking apps. County commissioners voting yesterday quietly to restore a 6% tax on parking reservations made through apps like Spot Hero. The vote repealed an ordinance passed in October that decreased the rate to 1.75%. The new tax rate was set to go into effect January 1st. One of Southern Illinois' key state senators says he does not want to see a satanic holiday display back at the State House in Springfield next year. In fact, Republican Paul Schimpf says he doesn't want to see it this year either. Schimpf wrote a letter to the Illinois Secretary of State, Jesse White, asking that display be removed immediately. White's office says the display from the Chicago Satanic Temple is protected by the First Amendment. Legendary Bears head coach Mike Ditka says the heart attack he suffered last month was bigger than his agent let on. Told Dan Pompei of The Athletic, the heart issue happened while he was golfing. Doctors inserted 4 stents and a pacemaker while he was hospitalized close to 10 days. Blackhawks snap an 8-game losing streak with a 6-3 win over the Penguins. Bulls and Magic will battle tonight in Mexico City. DePaul hammered Chicago State 104-70. The news, a service of Peloton, the perfect gift for them and you. Still a chance to give the gift of a Peloton bike. When you order that bike by 12/20, you'll get a free welcome gift. So you still have Peloton under the tree this holiday. See onepeloton.com. That's onepeloton.com, or visit them at 520 Michigan Avenue, Oakbrook Center, and Westfield, Old Orchard. 508, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Hey, how would you like to have your mortgage or rent paid for an entire year? Would that qualify as a Christmas miracle? Yeah, well, it could happen if you enter and win our Christmas Mortgage Miracle Contest, running now through December 20th. But you can only win if you enter. And to do that, go to 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword miracle. That's 560theanswer.com. Keyword miracle to enter for a chance to have your mortgage or rent paid for all of 2019.
I'm Amy Errett, founder of Madison Reed, a hair color company I named after my daughter. It's very meaningful to me when I hear customers talk about how Madison Reed at-home hair color has changed their lives. Here's Vicky, one of our very first customers.
Coloring my own hair is easier than I ever imagined. The best part, I no longer have to sit in a salon and pay over $100 to have this done. Now I color it when it's convenient for me, and it takes less than an hour. People compliment me on how great my color is, and my hair is incredibly soft and healthy looking.
Experience beautiful, multi-dimensional, ammonia-free, salon-quality color for under $25. Join the hundreds of thousands of women who have tried and loved Madison Reed. Find your perfect shade at madison-reed.com and get 10% off plus free shipping on your first color kit. Use code YES123. That's code YES123. Try it. Love it. That's the beauty of Madison Reed.
Get ready to make Range Day more awesome. Here's the perfect gift for the gun owner on your list, or for yourself, a Hackett Equipment Range backpack. The Hackett Equipment Range backpack comes in 3 styles of covert quality range backpacks that hold 2 to 4 pistols and carry a lifetime warranty. There's also an attachable rifle bag, tactical shooting glasses, all at affordable prices. You can even join the Hackett Equipment Army with a Hackett Equipment Pocket Pistol t-shirt. Hackett Equipment is a Chicago-based company that shares your values, and they'd like to share a smoking hot discount just for AM 560 listeners. Get 20% off all Hackett Equipment online products for a limited time with promo code AM 560. Plus, all orders over $100 receive free shipping on top of your 20% discount. Make trips to the shooting range easier and more fun by taking everything you need for a day at the range hands-free. Visit gunrangebags.com and see for yourself why Hackett Equipment bags have endless 5-star reviews. Have a blast at the shooting range and save 20% plus free shipping on orders over $100 with promo code AM560. Gunrangebags.com, promo code AM560.
From now through December, Napa is having its biggest holiday sale ever with hundreds of items at their best prices of the year. Items like a 26-piece screwdriver set for only $17.99. Quality parts, helpful people, that's Napa know-how, while supplies last.
5:11 and a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
On the outbound side of the Kennedy Expressway, we're still seeing roadwork delays. Nagel to Harlem. Construction in that area is wrapping up. It's now just about a 2-minute delay. Looking at a travel time of 22 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound fine at 20. And the express lanes are open inbound. Edens is fine. The Eisenhower as well. No delays to report yet on the Stevenson. Inbound Orion, traffic starting to build a little bit approaching downtown. Outbound, there is road work, 87th, the split, 3 left lanes. I-57 good. Bishop Ford, just a little congested approaching Michigan Avenue. Most of the earlier road work delays are gone. Just expect a brief slowdown in that area. Tollways are okay right now. No problems to report in northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Turning out cloudy for today with a high reaching 42. Some on and off rain and drizzle tonight, low 36. Morning rain tomorrow, then a cloudy day, high 44. Sun and clouds on Saturday, high 43. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
26 at O'Hare, 30 along the lakefront, 27 this morning at Midway. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy J this morning, Kristen McQuarrie, Chicago Tribune Ed Board member. Amy J is a little under the weather.
We
Kristen,
wish her the best.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for joining us. 312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, Turnkey.pro text line. Was justice done in the sentencing of Michael Cohen yesterday? He gets 3 years, $1.4 million in restitution. He's ordered to pay $50,000 in fines just for being your, run-of-the-mill scumbag. And his statement, his elocution, I blame myself for the conduct which has brought me here today, and it was my own weakness and a blind loyalty to this man that led me to choose a path of darkness over light. Follow the light, Michael Cohen. Follow the light. A scam artist to the very end. A scam artist to his elocution.
Cheerfully on the stand. And now he's the hero again. He's a liar and a scumbag and a rat to people who despise Trump and his administration. And then after he cheerfully folds, now he's the hero and everyone feels sorry for him.
Jonathan Turley's got the drop on this guy. In his piece, Jonathan Turley, George Washington law professor. Cohen's belated effort to cooperate with prosecutors without a formal agreement was an effort to play Mueller the way he played Trump, making himself useful in the hope of becoming indispensable. But it looks like this time Cohen will come up one hustle short. And that's exactly what this is. Turley reminds people of the $4 million in windfall payments Cohen received selling access to Trump to companies like AT&T. He kept the money, despite being embroiled in these scandals. He then scammed thousands of anti-Trump donors, along with the help of Lanny Davis, Clinton-era Michael Cohen. There's one for every generation. Lanny Davis was the Clinton era, and Michael Cohen is the Trump era. Scammed thousands of anti-Trump donors on a GoFundMe site for a couple $100,000 on the promise of turning against Trump, without, of course, mentioning the millions he got shaking down companies to provide at least the hope of access to Trump.
You're
Scam
so
artist
cynical,
from the beginning.
Dan. You're so cynical. He's seen the light. He hit rock bottom, and
Yeah.
now he is a changed man.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sure. He was looking at 20 years. He got 3. It could have been worse. If the scam didn't go 100% the way he wanted, I'm sure he would have happily gave up his law license. And this is an indication of how easy it is to get a law license, by the way, in exchange for no time. But he had to take a 3-year hit. It's a lot better than the 20 he was looking at. If he had never been associated with Trump on tax evasion and bank fraud alone, he would have been sent away for more time than this.
I know. I think 3 years in the pokey is a light sentence for his long, not necessarily what he was charged for. But I'm still struggling with this being a campaign finance violation.
I'm struggling with your use of the term pokey. Is that what they call prison on the South Side?
Yes.
Campaign finance violation. We talked to Bradley Smith, FEC commissioner, former chairman of the FEC yesterday. Not a campaign contribution. So you can't. So he's pleading guilty to something, not just Bradley Smith, but other former FEC commissioners who testified on behalf of John Edwards when he was indicted for campaign finance violations back in the day for paying off his mistress. That's not a campaign contribution. Hans van Spakovsky, friend of the show at Heritage Foundation, writes a piece in Daily Signal yesterday laying that out as well. So, the whole issue of bringing in AMI, Media, National Enquirer, spiking stories for Trump and running the money through AMI to the women. Well, and this goes to this issue of willful knowing and willful orchestration of this hush money. Well, what are you orchestrating? You're orchestrating a transaction, arguably. So there's nothing illegal about it, even if they thought it was illegal. If the statute doesn't provide for this to be considered an illegal payment, and you have FEC commissioners disagreeing with the Southern District of New York, intent on big game hunting, then what exactly do you have? You have a very weak case is what you have.
So in one of the stories I read, though, they are considering this because Cohen took the money out of the Trump organization, then it turned into a corporate in-kind donation or an illegal corporate donation.
No, he invoiced the Trump organization for the money after the fact.
Right. So I was always looking at this as that they were looking at it as an in-kind, but they're actually looking at it as a hard money violation, right?
Well, I don't exactly know what the Southern District's theory is of the contribution other than that it was required to be disclosed. And if it was a hard money contribution, then it would be, well, if it was a hard money contribution from Trump, then it's not a violation of campaign contribution limits. If it's an in-kind contribution from Cohen that had to be disclosed, then it's also a violation of campaign finance, campaign contribution limits.
I just think this sets the bar in a different direction. And if we are going to look at in-kind contributions in this way, then every time someone, right now you have Susana Mendoza and Tony Preckwinkle holding jobs with Cook County government and with state government running around campaigning. I mean, essentially they're going to breakfasts and church meetings and handshake events to promote their mayoral campaign. So then should all of the costs associated with that, their transportation, their staff, now have to be reported as in-kind contributions because it is in effect forwarding their mayoral prospects?
I mean, the whole issue of candidates running for one office from another office is totally problematic, and it's one of the ways you get a permanent political class is because it's very difficult for people who aren't independently wealthy,
who have jobs, have to show up at work.
Yeah, right. To that turn around and spend the same kind of time that politicians can spend running for their next office. It's a completely skewed system. I agree.
I'm just trying to give an example of what, in my mind, would now constitute an in-kind contribution. Anything, basically, any transaction, anything that should be reported that is contributing to the success of your political campaign.
Yeah, Washington Examiner had an editorial on the topic the other day. Yeah, every weight loss product that Chris Christie bought, the lap band surgery, because I want to look better as a candidate, so that's why I'm doing this procedure. That's why I'm on a diet to look better as a candidate. So that's tangentially connected to my candidacy, thus my campaign. Thus, it's an in-kind contribution, or it's a personal contribution to the campaign that has to be disclosed. I mean, it's it's endless.
It's endless, exactly. I mean, they're essentially saying that to quiet these rumors, which is actually just to me sort of part of opposition research that happens on day one, usually of a campaign, not 2 weeks before the election, as it did with Stormy Daniels, but we're just getting into a weird space. And so this is prosecutable. This is getting, 3 years of jail time for Michael Cohen, who I don't have any love lost for him. But then you have cases.
But that's not why he's getting this time. I mean, he's getting this time. Yeah, he's pleading out to that because they need him to plead out to that. So he pled out to this crime, and now we've established it's a crime, so now we can try to go up the food chain. He's got all kinds of other problems, as I said, bank fraud, tax evasion,
yes.
Serious crimes, not this, kind of dubious campaign finance violation.
Yes, but then you have the FEC and federal prosecutors and state's attorneys tolerating, someone like Congressman Bobby Rush, who's had his entire family on his payroll.
Gutierrez.
I mean, these are not, you're not paying your family members to further your campaign when, you rarely have an opponent. I mean, Bobby Rush never has one. His wife has received something like $550,000 from his campaign fund since like the early 2000s.
And Gutierrez's wife is right behind her.
Yeah, but that's tolerated, even though we're going to take this really strict interpretation of what a campaign fund is supposed to accept and, the in and out of a campaign fund.
Well, I think this is why Trump said in an interview this week with Reuters, it's hard to impeach somebody who hasn't done anything wrong and who's created the greatest economy in the history of the country. Okay. I'm not concerned, about impeachment. I think the people would revolt if it happened. If they're going to impeach him over essentially lying down with dogs, Cohen, Manafort, perhaps others, then I wonder if that will prompt a yellow vest moment in this country. I think at minimum, if this is all they have, and the Democrats in the House move to impeachment, I think you're going to see a boomerang effect on Democrats that dwarfs the boomerang effect Republicans felt when they pursued and impeached President Clinton.
I would agree. I mean, President Clinton was impeached and then tried on lying to a federal grand jury twice,
Right.
two counts of obstruction of justice.
Mhm.
So we're not there with Trump. And I mean, I'm even seeing just from my liberal-leaning friends a walking back of, a recognition that this is a campaign violation at its heart, and that if this is all they have, then no, impeachment is not.
I love this line from Turley, too, yesterday, reacting to the sentencing of Cohen, about Michael Cohen, and the D.C. press corps reporting of it as some kind of fall from grace.
I think he got a good sentence from his perspective. I wouldn't have been that generous if I were the judge. He had two aggravating conditions or criteria that the prosecutors raised that I thought probably should just negate any cooperation he gave. He also had divided prosecutors. Some said he wasn't very cooperative. Mueller says he is. But the judge gave him as good a sentence as he could possibly have hoped for. For those of us who've been longtime critics of Michael Cohen, and I certainly am among them, this is not a fall from grace, because I can't remember a time when he was in a state of grace.
Perfect.
You can't fall
Zing.
from a place you never occupied.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs, get rid of the pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat, you do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, from an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido, Chicago anesthesia and pain specialist, will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain, find the source, and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
Welcome to Billy's Burgers.
Double cheese with fries, please.
Slide your card. Thank you. Your order number is 7,345. Next.
Number 2, order is ready.
2? Oh, come on.
Waiting is no fun, but you don't have to wait to see your energy bill. Visit ComEd.com/myaccount, sign in, and get all the answers you need about your bill. Fast. That's ComEd.com/myaccount. ComEd, powering lives.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes, warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank, where you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes. And you'll always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
For more than a half century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, Mueller, CPA.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
We want to thank our many business benefactors that have signed up to help us reach our goal this Christmas season of providing food for a year and water for life for 3,000 children in Haiti, someplace that one Kristen McQuarrie has visited on a mission of mercy and help with her dad.
I have. I was in Cap Haitian a couple of years ago, and my dad actually goes every year. He's kind of gone back and forth between trips that are partially sponsored by Food for the Poor, but also medical missions where he spends 3 or 4 weeks with a group of doctors and providing much-needed medical care. So I'm familiar.
He's not a doctor himself.
He is not a doctor, so he did work in healthcare. So he does like pharmaceutical duties and some of the more like nursing care of people. But they sign up, they wait months to have these visits, and they have otherwise no access to healthcare.
Yeah, and so Amy's been on the ground, you've been on the ground, and obviously Food for the Poor is the one doing much of the heavy lifting, the organization doing much of the heavy lifting there. So you get some firsthand accounts of just how deprived the depredation of the situation in Haiti throughout the country. And so appreciate the donor leadership from our business benefactors, and we're still working to reach our goal this Christmas season. But thank you to Grace Lutheran Church in Streamwood, Waterleaf Women's Clinic, CMT Research Foundation, and I think it's a pretty good testament to Food for the Poor and the work they do that you have other nonprofits like those that I just mentioned contributing to this cause. Viking Ski Shop in Chicago and Barrington, McNaughton Development in Burr Ridge, the Anglers Outlet, Harding's Heavy Equipment, Insure With Us, and many more companies. If you want to join these companies in advance of this mission, it's easy to do. You write a $2,500 tax-deductible check to Food for the Poor. And in return for your generosity, we offer some of our own, an opportunity to market your business on our airwaves to our audience. 40 60-second commercials that will run primetime broadcasting hours, weekdays 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. on these airwaves on AM 560. To enroll in this program and join these other business and nonprofit leaders, you call our sales manager, Ann Jeanette, at 847-472-8951. Again, Ann Jeanette, 847-472-8951. And we thank you in advance for your support. Coming up at 5:38, how did Google CEO hold up under questioning from members of the House? We'll review what he had to say and whether it was more sort of big tobacco denying that nicotine is addictive. That's at 5:38. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
26 degrees in Chicago. President Trump's former lawyer and fixer will spend 3 years in prison. Federal judge in New York ordering Michael Cohen to report to the federal pen March 6. Cohen's attorney, Lanny Davis, says his client owned up to some mistakes.
He has a hard road with people like yourself and, quite frankly, with me when I first decided whether to represent him, to convince me that he is genuinely changed and been transformed.
Cohen pleading guilty to tax fraud, violations of campaign finance laws, and apologized. Panel reviewing the February mass shootings at a Florida high school is recommending giving teachers guns. State Commission on the Parkland shooting voting to include a recommendation to arm teachers who undergo specific training. 3 who were reported missing in an abandoned West Virginia coal mine have been safely rescued. 4 were initially reported missing. Near that mine, 1 person was able to walk out on Saturday. Researchers at the University of Miami's Miller School of Medicine releasing their final report on the U.S. diplomats who suffered neurological injury while working at an embassy in Cuba. Dr. Michael Hofer presented the findings on Wednesday.
What we found, and we're going to describe today, is objective evidence of balance disorders that affect the gravity organs and unique cognitive dysfunction.
The report found more than a dozen suffered injuries similar to a concussion in 2016. Apple expanding its footprint in Austin, Texas, including construction of a $1 billion new campus. The tech giant also says it's adding jobs and sites in Seattle, San Diego, Culver City, California, and existing sites in Pittsburgh and Colorado. Authorities are investigating threatening graffiti found at a Chicago high school on the north side. The message referred to a shooting December 14th, discovered in a bathroom at Lincoln Park High School. One man is wounded after being shot inside a funeral home in Bridgeview. Police say the shooting happened last night at the Hahn Funeral Home in the 8200 block of South Harlem Avenue. Cook County leaders are repealing a tax break on parking apps. County commissioners voting yesterday to restore a 6% tax on parking reservations made through apps like Spot Hero. And the band Metallica this morning has announced it's giving back this holiday season, donating $1 million in grants to 10 community colleges across the United States. The donation through the band's All Within Our Hands Foundation will give $100,000 to each college. In Michigan, Grand Rapids Community College President Dr. Bill Pink thrilled with the band's donation.
An incredible opportunity for us. We were one of 10 community colleges in the United States to have been selected for this award.
The $1 million helping support 1,000 students in all who are looking to enter a traditional trade or other applied program. The band says students who benefit from the grants will become their first Metallica scholars. Chicago sports, Blackhawks snap an 8-game losing streak with a 6-3 win over the Penguins. Bulls and Magic set to battle in Mexico City tonight. 5:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher has seen something refreshing out of Washington.
We've seen a classy, beautiful, solemn send-off to the 41st President of the United States, and we have seen a ton of unity. I think that's a good thing. I know it's a good thing. Now, I know many of you like to fight, and you want to keep fighting. That's fine. We got plenty of fights coming up. Don't worry. Give it a week.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
Dashing through the snow, to CVS we go. A $10 cash card for beauty brands and bows. Lights to dress the tree, and stocking gifts galore. Candy cards and photo gifts and deals throughout the store. At CVS Pharmacy, we've got all the little things you need this holiday. Like a $10 CVS cash card, yours when you spend $30 on select items. This week, M&Ms are 2 for $6 and photo cards are 30% off online. Dash to CVS Pharmacy today. Restrictions apply. See cvs.com/weekly ad for details.
Hey, Dad. I wanted to remind you that the holidays are close. Real close. And Mom and I don't need wool socks again. At Helzberg, you can get jewelry for Mom and get a free Nintendo Switch system for me. 2 gifts in one trip. I'm not saying you're a last-minute shopper, but I'm not saying that either.
Get gifts that get gifts at Helzberg Diamonds, like a free Nintendo Switch system when you spend $1,199 or more. Helzberg Diamonds, a Berkshire Hathaway company. Limited time offer while supplies last. See online or in-store for details. Game sold separately.
If you're not pleased with your child's progress this school year, now's the time to consider enrolling your son or daughter in St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. With an ongoing enrollment program, it's never too late. For years, St. John's Northwestern Military Academy has served young men and is now an excellent co-ed environment. Not a school for troubled kids, but one that will prepare young men and women for college by focusing on rigorous academics and leadership with a safe, secure, and structured environment free from distractions that's conducive to successful learning. St. John's Northwestern Military Academy in the beautiful Lake Country region of southeast Wisconsin inspires personal growth through a commitment to excellence in academics, spiritual, and character development, athletics, and their military traditions. Find out more about St. John's Northwestern Military Academy ongoing enrollment. Call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET. Or visit their website, sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
5:38, a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
We're seeing some early morning delays on the south side expressways. Inbound Ryan, it's heavy approaching downtown. You get about a 2 or 3 minute delay there. Outbound of Ryan, there is road work from 87th to Split. 3 left lanes are closed till 6 this morning. Expect reduced speeds in that area. 557 is okay for now. Inbound Bishop Ford. And it's improved over where it was after some construction near Michigan Avenue. We still have about 2 or 3 minute delay approaching the merge. The outbound side is clear. Eden's just fine. Kennedy, outbound work near Harlem is gone. At the moment, delay free. 20 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. Eisenhower looking good for now. Stevenson, seeing mild delays. Lamont Road to Cass, Harlem to Central. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Cloudy, 42 today, 26 officially at O'Hare. Next news at 6, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Kristen McClure from the Chicago Tribune editorial board in for Amy J. this morning. And I want to continue with this conversation about Cohen and Trump and the competing organizations we have here. Jonathan Turley said something, the GW law professor we were speaking about before the news, said something else interesting yesterday about Trump, and it's not novel, but it's something we've said here as well. You know, Trump has to bear the responsibility for lying down with dogs. These are his associates. He didn't have to have Michael Cohen as his sort of poor man's Michael Clayton for the last decade plus. He chose to. And so now he's in part in this position because of the personnel choices he made, saying Turley saying this.
The president does bear responsibility here. He picked Michael Cohen, and Michael Cohen never had a good legal reputation. He never had a reputation as someone who was a particularly good lawyer. He was a bit of a thug, and the president hired him. And so there's no escaping that.
And I don't disagree with that, but I wonder if there is some additional context that should be added to the conversation. In other words, you know, the people that you deal with sometimes are a product of the environment you're in. And in New York politics, remember, we just had both New York legislative leaders indicted and convicted on corruption charges.
Mm-hmm, true.
And it will not shock you to learn that the real estate development community is rarely confused for the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. So you're going to deal with interesting people in the world of contracting and real estate development and so forth. So a Michael Cohen, maybe that specifically is the wrong choice, but that sort of profile is maybe what fits in that environment, New York commercial real estate. I mean, you're not going to hire Jonathan Turley or some other blue chip law professor to represent you in commercial transactions in the New York real estate world.
No, but you also don't need someone to pay off porn stars if you're not engaging in that activity. So I think it's to say this they're a product of their environment. No, you can still probably conduct business in an upright fashion, even in that environment, and at the very least, maybe not sleep around so much.
Well, there's no defending that, but in terms of illegality, I mean, it's there's very little that says that Trump did anything illegal here.
No, but you're talking about lying with dogs, and
yes,
and when you behave as such, perhaps that's what you attract as well. And I think there's an element of of Trump, especially in the lead up to Election Day and thereafter, just making so many bad decisions about, he had like Seb Gorka, and I know I like him, I like listening to him, but Steve Bannon, people around him who eventually he sort of had to sweep off because they didn't have, they were just sort of always operating from their gut. And that sort of reminds me of how maybe Michael Cohen is. Instead of getting, policy-focused people around you at the start and just kind of fumbling around.
Well, there's no question. I mean, the sort of like seeing Paul Manafort in the hallway at Trump Tower and then making him your campaign chairman.
Exactly.
It's a little...
Or your kids, like let's put my son-in-law in charge of Mideast negotiations and my daughter is going to be on the payroll. And just kind of some bad decisions right off the bat.
Right. However... context is important.
It's no fun though.
Were there like your run-of-the-mill established political operatives? Were they running to the Trump campaign, particularly in a field of 20 candidates?
I mean,
what was he going to choose?
He
from?
had Reince Priebus initially. He did have some people around him.
No, I'm talking about the campaign.
Okay.
Because we're talking about Paul Manafort and Roger Stone and Corey Lewandowski.
Yes.
And Michael Cohen's still around.
Exactly.
And so all of these sort of bottom dwellers and curious personalities. So I agree with you. It was sort of it was definitely a meatball Sunday, that campaign team, but there's two things about that. One is, what was the campaign team he was going to get? And especially at the outset, especially until before he won the Iowa caucus. And still, number two, that campaign team, that ragtag crew, beat all the professionals.
He did. I mean,
you got to give the dog his due, if you will.
I agree. I just think there were some missed... This is so gently put, but some missed opportunities once he was actually elected to move forward with a more professional-focused team.
Well, but he did. I mean, so that's the interesting thing. So this goes back to a product of your environment. I'm not excusing the personnel decisions he made or his personal conduct for, the last 40 years plus, 50 years. I don't know. I'm just saying... it is interesting to look at the people that surrounded him when he was a commercial real estate baron and a reality TV star, for that matter. I mean, talk about bottom dwellers. We haven't even talked about all his time dealing with media executives and NBC folks. But then he becomes president of the United States. I mean, he has General John Kelly as his chief of staff. His cabinet is largely impressive people, perhaps with a couple of exceptions. But I mean, he did surround himself with talent. He did up his game when he became president of the United States. There's a lot of serious, accomplished people that have been in his inner circle from the outset. Now, you still have the issue with Emo Phillips and Ex Machina. You still have the issue, you had the issue for a while with Bannon. But, I mean, in terms of his cabinet, in terms of the chief of staff selections, he's not picking the Michael Cohens of the political world since he's been president of the United States.
I think there was a little too much of a hangover of some of those campaign people holding positions in the White House before he finally realized he actually did need some people around him. And he finally broke up with Joe and Micah, so that was big. That was huge.
Yeah.
He stopped inviting them over for New Year's Eve parties, and that was a big breakup.
Well, that was a big breakup. I wonder, it sounds like from the exchange yesterday over Mike Pompeo's comments on Khashoggi that Joyka not quite over the breakup.
I know. Well, all the plastic surgery comments that came out, I think she's still just really hurt from that.
Craig in Mount Greenwood, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, Dan and Miss McQuarrie there. I'm listening to this discussion and everything, and whenever I hear it go this way, and that it makes me mad because talk about these people that Trump surrounded himself with and all this kind of thing. Now, let's be honest. Look what Obama did to the Justice Department, FBI, IRS, all these political hacks, anti-justice system, corrupt, criminal people stuck in all kinds of important places that do nothing but damage, all kinds of damage. And I always think about even that Joe Walsh, who you can't figure out where the heck he's coming from. He'll get on there. I like Trump, everything. I swear him. When he's good, I talk good. But it's like a little child that's been beat up and battered by a whole bunch of different people in that.
Yeah.
And then they do something wrong.
Well, Craig, I'm just saying, like, I get what you're saying about the slime that Obama elevated to pursue Americans based on their religious and political beliefs at places like the IRS. I get that. But I'm just saying, here, forget Obama for a second. Let's not do the what about. Let's just do the kind of the assessment of Trump based on an absolute standard that we could then apply to Obama and others as well. And just look, do you not believe that he bears responsibility for the people he chose to associate with over his career, including a career that transitioned, a career in business and TV that transitioned to a political career that has beset him with some problems?
Yes, I do. I agree with you on that. My point is a little bit, it takes a kind of an odd twist. It's because of everybody that piles on that guy. That guy can't get a breath of air. Everybody's got their foot on his neck and everything. So my point is, the fact that I agree with so much that Trump does, there's a lot of things I don't agree with. But I'm willing to take and just bite my tongue and not even bring it up because he's got enough people standing on his neck. I'm not going to be another one to pile up on it.
All right, I got you. I got you.
Yeah,
okay.
it's dealing with an abused child. I'm going to take and kind of like let some things go.
Thanks for the call, Craig. Appreciate it. Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hello, Ed.
Oh, Ed waited such a long time.
Oh.
But to Craig's
Hi, Ed. Sorry.
To Craig's point, I think that there is a lot of merit to just once again, everything Trump does is under more scrutiny, including all of his choices and his cabinet members in a way that Obama and previous administrations did not. So that is a point conceded.
I go back to the Rusty Reno statement, too, in this piece that he wrote in First Things. I mentioned it yesterday. It's a rather incredible statement considering the source. Talking about a conservative Christian outlet. And he was reviewing Bush 41 and in the context of Trump, since that's what the D.C. press corps obsessed about all last week. But he had a little bit different take on it. Basically say, look, in politics, what we say we want and what we should expect is candidates say, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to do, and then if elected, they actually act in furtherance of what they said they would do. And by that standard, Rusty Reno saying, Trump is the most honest politician of his generation. And I got to tell you, it's difficult to disagree with that. By that standard, regardless of things he says at pressers or on the campaign trail that are not exactly accurate, mistakes he makes, but in terms of directionally, these are the things I'm going to pursue. And then he was elected, and what has he done? He's pursued them almost without fail. There's something to that.
I can't disagree with that.
I mean, it's difficult sometimes to actually swallow that reality, but it's true.
Maybe honest isn't quite the right word.
Most honest politician from that standard of are you doing the things you said you would do, the basis on which people elected you? I mean, I don't even think it's close. That's the frightening thing. Because what do we get wooed by? We get wooed by polish. We get wooed by credentials. We get wooed by pedigree. And Trump doesn't have much of that, although he does have some pedigree, but you kind of forget about it because he has so little polish. But by that standard, I mean, it's just difficult to argue with that statement. I know it's rather stunning, but it's true.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
I'm Amy Errett, founder of Madison Reed, a hair color company I named after my daughter. It's very meaningful to me when I hear customers talk about how Madison Reed at-home hair color has changed their lives. Here's Vicky, one of our very first customers.
Coloring my own hair is easier than I ever imagined. The best part, I no longer have to sit in a salon and pay over $100 to have this done. Now I color it when it's convenient for me, and it takes less than an hour. People compliment me on how great my color is, and my hair is incredibly soft and healthy looking.
Experience beautiful, multi-dimensional, ammonia-free, salon-quality color for under $25. Join the hundreds of thousands of women who have tried and loved Madison Reed. Find your perfect shade at madison-reed.com and get 10% off plus free shipping on your first color kit. Use code YES123. That's code YES123. Try it. Love it. That's the beauty of Madison Reed.
Looking to secure financing on a new home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Stephanie, account manager, contacted her credit union to get pre-qualified for a mortgage. Bad move. The credit union's alleged mortgage expert informed Stephanie she couldn't purchase a home without a cosigner. Wrong. Stephanie's grandfather would cosign, but she wanted to do it herself. After hearing hundreds of our ads, Stephanie called for a free consultation. An experienced Team Hochberg mortgage professional answered Stephanie's questions and helped her secure a mortgage without a cosigner. Let's review. The inexperienced mortgage professional at Stephanie's credit union stated she needed a cosigner to purchase a home, and Team Hochberg secured her a mortgage without a cosigner. When securing a mortgage, you could either get terrible advice at your credit union, or you could call Team Hochberg at 312-751-1333. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 35-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. We have so many wonderful clients, but with me today is someone very special.
Hi, I'm Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA. We are a nonprofit student organization battling the bias and indoctrination in America's high schools and colleges every day. We are on over 1,000 campuses and continue to grow. Precision Payroll has been there since day one and has helped us immensely as we grew to a truly national organization. No one in the business is better than Precision Payroll. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Charlie. What you're doing is so important. To learn more and help, go to tpusa.com. That's tpusa.com.
And for your business, let Precision Payroll make a difference for you. Call Tom at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507 or online at precisionpayroll.com.
Thank you, Charlie.
Did you know your employees are the biggest threat to your network and data integrity? And no, they're not out to destroy your business. There are just so many traps and scams in the digital world that they may not even know they're being tricked. Yeah, see the story about the NRCC yesterday about being hacked.
Yep.
Are your employees aware of the term phishing? Phishing is a form of fraud where an attacker disguises themselves as a reputable person in an email or online messaging to distribute malicious links or attachments that can steal your company's valuable info. How would you like to test your employees on how well they avoid phishing campaigns? Wouldn't it be great to train them properly to avoid these threats? Turnkey IT can ensure your users and employers are trained to avoid phish threats. It's just one of the many ways Turnkey can keep your network and data safe. And this phish threat training is provided free of charge for a limited time to all new service contract customers. Manti Te'o should sign up. As online scammers keep finding ways to rip you off, know that you and your employees are keeping your valuable data safe and secure. Visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
Email phishing attacks cost businesses billions annually in real cash, data loss, and brand damage. Phishing emails are hard to detect because the messages appear to be legitimate to unsuspecting employees. Introducing Barracuda PhishLine, a groundbreaking cloud-based solution designed to help employees recognize sophisticated email phishing attacks through interactive training reinforced by continuous simulation. Transform your employees from a liability into a line of defense. Go to barracuda.com/PL to learn more.
Welcome to A Dash of Salt, where we debunk myths and shake up what you think you know about salt. Myth number 1 comes from Michael T.
The older you get, the less salt you should have. Everyone knows that.
Okay, let's shake it up. Here's the truth. In older people, a low-salt diet could actually be bad. It could result in a lack of thirst, which leads to dehydration. Also, getting the right amount of salt can help reduce confusion or loss of cognition.
I hate being wrong, but that's actually pretty awesome.
It's true. Everything's better with a little salt. Join us next time on A Dash of Salt and find out more at alittlesalt.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Kristen McQuarrie from the Trib Ed Board in for Amy this morning, and we're just talking about Trump's cabinet. People he's surrounded himself with since he's been president of the United States. And it is worth noting, Rockford in the news again, Heather Nauert, the new U.S. ambassador to the UN, or will be if she's confirmed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, Heather Nauert, Rockford. Kristen McQuarrie, Rockford.
Keep going. Rick Nielsen, Rockford. Are we going?
Cheap Trick.
Are we going into musician status here?
Oh, it
Yes.
starts to get pretty thin. John Anderson.
John Anderson? House rep or something?
You don't remember John Anderson?
No, I do not.
Are you going to pretend like you're too young to remember John Anderson?
I am too young to remember John Anderson.
1980 independent candidate for president of the United States.
Oh my gosh, you're such a nerd. I was like 6.
There should be a statue of him in
There,
Rockford.
There might be.
I mean,
I'm just
honestly.
unaware.
Next,
But yes.
Put it next to the one for Cheap Trick.
Heather was a few years ahead of me. We did not go to the same school. She went to the exclusive private school for the, kind of super uber wealthy in Rockford. But I don't hold it against her. She had a successful family insurance business, I think, her dad.
That's where you two parted company.
She would never have deigned to hang with, public school kids such as myself.
And now she's going to be the U.S. ambassador to the UN.
And I'm here with you.
So what you're saying is it's all worked out. Everybody had their own path, and they found their own level.
That's right.
And not one is not better than the other.
No, we are both accomplished.
Jamie in Nashville, Tennessee. Wow. Hey, Jamie.
Yes, sir. Hey, guys. I listen to y'all every day.
Oh, good. Say hi to all our Chicago friends down there.
Yes, I go to Chicago like about every other day, but I drive a semi. But some of my guy friends and I, we were talking about this situation that they did not cover a whole lot of. The American people found out that we, as taxpayers, have a fund up in Washington, D.C. for what was the amount, $16 to $19 million. We don't really know. So what's the difference between Donald Trump taking his own $130,000, paying off someone which we all know he shouldn't have really been with, but that's Donald Trump. That's, So what's the difference of that and the difference of someone that's serving in office?
Yeah,
and going to take our taxpayer money and cover up their dealings so they don't get booted out of office.
Jamie, thanks for the call. We have to let you go. We're up against it, but it's a great point you make. Now it's time to turn it over to Mike Scott for the headlines.
Gray skies, and we'll watch the weather. WIND Chicago
Found
News Time,
alive
6.
in West Virginia. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. I love you being said over and over to Erica Treadwell as she was taken away in an ambulance. She and 2 others who went missing in an abandoned mine over the weekend rescued last night.
This is an outcome that I really, truly, in my heart, didn't think would happen.
Governor Jim Justice, the 3 went into the mine searching for copper wire to sell. One says they prayed to God water they found in the mine wasn't contaminated. They're all said to be okay. There's a new wrinkle before former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn sentenced next week for lying to the FBI. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the federal judge overseeing Flynn's case is demanding special counsel Robert Mueller hand over all government documents related to his questioning. This after Flynn's legal team made a bombshell allegation that the FBI pushed him not to bring a lawyer to an interview with agents at the White House. The judge's order allows Mueller to file the documents under seal. Flynn is set to be sentenced on December 18th, but that could now be delayed. Dave.
Rachel Michael Cohen, the president's ex-lawyer, got 3 years in prison for lying to Congress, tax evasion, campaign finance violations.
In court, Michael Cohen said he worked in coordination with and at the direction of Mr. Trump for the principal purpose of influencing the election. That's why he made the payments, and that kind of testimony could potentially be very damaging to the president.
That's Fox's Rick Leventhal. 48% of Americans surveyed in a new Fox poll believe the Trump campaign coordinated with Russia, but a little more than half don't think the special counsel will find an impeachable offense. The president's overall job approval rating, 46%. The Senate plans to vote today on a resolution that would call on the U.S. to no longer give assistance to the Saudi-led war in Yemen in response to the murder of a Saudi Arabian Washington Post columnist. The CIA has reportedly concluded the Saudi crown prince had a role in the killing. This is Fox News.
6:02 on AM 560 The Answer. We have gray skies and 26 degrees. Here are the stories we are following this morning on WIND Chicago. Authorities investigating after threatening graffiti was found at a high school on Chicago's north side. A message referencing a shooting on December 14th was discovered in a bathroom at Lincoln Park High School. It was reported to police yesterday. One man is wounded after being shot inside a funeral home in Bridgeview. Police say the shooting happened last night at the Hahn Funeral Home in the 8200 block of South Harlem Avenue. A Zion man faces charges after his pregnant wife was shot inside of a home in Round Lake. Alvin Quinn was arguing with someone Tuesday when there was a struggle over a gun that he brought. During the struggle, the gun went off and the wife was shot in the head. She remains hospitalized in critical condition. Her unborn child has died. Mayor Emanuel laying out his dream plan to help the city deal with the growing pension crisis. Speaking yesterday to the city council, the mayor proposed using revenue generated by legalizing marijuana and opening a casino to help fund pension payments, set to increase by $1 billion annually in 2023.
Simply put, leaders in the past made commitments without the resources to back them up. And now, inevitably, the bill has come due.
In addition, he called for a state constitutional amendment to allow a reduction in public workers' pension benefits. Several Chicago aldermen are seeking to strip Ed Burke of his control of the city's workers' compensation system. A proposed ordinance was introduced at yesterday's city council session that would place the $100 million a year program under control of the corporation council, who is selected by the mayor. Check your freezer this morning. You may need to throw out some bad sausage. USDA this week issued a recall for over 29,000 pounds of Jimmy Dean sausage. Regulators say there are reports of people finding metal in their sausage. No one's gotten hurt. The USDA says it fears some Illinois residents may have that sausage in their freezer. Blackhawks snap an 8-game losing skid with a 6-3 win over the Penguins. Bulls and Magic set to do battle tonight in Mexico City. The news service of UPSjobs.com. What is Future You doing right now? Well, you could be working for UPS as a part-time package handler. Now hiring in Hodgkins, plus receive tuition assistance from the UPS Earn and Learn program. Apply now at UPSjobs.com. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity applauds the president's stance on trade.
We have had horrible one-sided deals with everybody. That includes NATO, 72 cents of every dollar. That includes even our European allies and friends, supposedly. They have one-sided trade deals. Mexico, NAFTA, Canada, now China. So we're making huge progress.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's the holiday sales event at Ford. It's a big deal, and we're busy making preparations to get you the best deals of the year. Because unlike Santa's presents, ours don't just magically appear. At Ford, ours are built in real factories, where pickup trucks come with best-in-class towing and payload, where SUVs are built with available features like terrain management and driver assist technologies, and where every bolt, stitch, and line of code is tested and tested again. But you don't have to write Santa a letter to get these presents. Naughty or nice, just come see your Ford dealer during our holiday sales event for our best offers of the year. Ford, built for the holidays. Built Ford proud.
Best-in-class towing and payload when properly configured. Class is light-duty pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
Are you looking for the perfect gift? I hope you'll check out Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville. I love these guys. Mike Gallagher here at Roland's. Not only do they care about making America great again, they also care about making your holiday moments memorable. You know, buying jewelry is about trust. Roland's is the go-to place. You're going to see why when you visit RolandsJewelers.com or head to downtown Libertyville to work with them in person. It's no hassle. They'll show you pieces from the top designers, Simon G. with beautiful pendants. The Hearts on Fire diamond earrings are a great choice. Italian designer Roberto Coin's collection is gorgeous. Ken over at Roland's is offering up to $500 for AM 560 The Answer listeners. Not just for jewelry, but luxury timepieces, like the watch I wear from Roland's, Shinola, or Longines, or Tag Heuer. Your choice. Roland's Jewelers makes your gift giving easy. RolandsJewelers.com. Let them help you in-store in downtown Libertyville. Roland's Jewelers is a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
Now at Lowe's, save $50 on a 4-tool 20-volt cordless combo kit featuring a drill, impact driver, reciprocating saw, flashlight, 2 batteries, and more for just $149. Lowe's, the new home of craftsmen. Offer valid 12/12 through 12/19. While supplies last. See store for details. U.S. only.
6:07 and a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Eastbound Eden spur traffic is heavy from the Tri-State to Waukegan Road. The Eden itself is still fine. The inbound Kennedy has delays from Cumberland to Central. 24 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 20. Got Eisenhower. Traffic hits the brakes from Manheim to Harlem and Ashland to the Burns Circle. 38 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 29. Inbound Stevenson, slow 83 to County Line. First Avenue to Kedzie and Ashland to Ryan. 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 26 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 30 minutes, 8094 to the merge. North on Tri-State a bit tight, the Reagan tollway to the Eisenhower. The other tollways are looking good, no issues to report on 53. Northwest Indiana is just fine. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Turning out cloudy today, a high at 42. Some rain and drizzle for tonight, low 36. Morning rain tomorrow. Otherwise, it'll be a cloudy day, the high 44. Sun and clouds Saturday, high 43. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
26 at O'Hare. Next news at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning, Kristen McQuarrie from the Chicago Tribune Ed Board. And switching gears a little bit off the beaten path, but not completely, tangentially related to 2020. This piece from Matt Iglesias over at Vox.com. This is supposed to be like the young intellectual left outlet. Matt Iglesias, it's ridiculous that it's unconstitutional for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to run for president. Should we amend the Constitution to remove the requirement that someone be 35 years of age to run for president of the United States? Because that's what Matt Iglesias is arguing. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. You shouldn't have to be a naturalized citizen, and you shouldn't have to be 35 years of age to run for president. These are relics from a bygone era. We don't wear powdered wigs anymore. We can entrust the country to a 29-year-old socialist from the Bronx if we so choose.
Let her run, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Let her run.
Mm-hmm. We currently have a septuagenarian in the White House whose frequent nonsensical diatribes and notoriously scattered Twitter uppers repeatedly raise the prospect of mental decline. Meanwhile, the top two Democrats in national polling, Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden, are 77 and 76 respectively. There's nothing wrong with old people per se. It's nice. But essentially everyone has lost a step or two, both mentally and physically, by their mid-70s.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, 29, Ocasio-Cortez's age, just honestly isn't that young. People younger than that are routinely trusted with life and death decisions in a huge array of contexts, ranging from parenting to military service. And also, she has a cool nickname, AOC, and that should be enough to put her in the White House.
I mean, so I'm a little openly prejudiced against people in their 20s. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
They're out there. I do subscribe to the notion that life experience, it's more about life experience, and that can sort of only come with age. Is this really worth a constitutional amendment? No. Is he just having like a big crush on her and wants her to take a huge leap when clearly she's hardly ready for the role she's in now.
I think it's like, holy crap, we don't have anybody to run in 2020. Hey, it can't be Bernie and Biden and Hillary. And,
they are all old.
And oh, by the way, the new talent in the 40s and early 50s, like Booker and Kamala Harris, well, that's not showing very well. So who do we got? Hickenlooper? We're going to have to introduce John Hickenlooper to the country? I think this is a bit of panic masked as thoughtfulness going on the left.
You think you're giving this author a great deal of credit?
Well, no, I mean, but this is how like Ezra Klein, Matt Iglesias, this is how they perceive themselves, and this is how the D.C. press corps treats them. This is like the avant-garde left intellectual set, the next generation of leftist intellectuals that will be talking about their vaginas on the pages of the New York Times someday.
Or the Chicago Tribune.
Oh,
it happens occasionally.
I don't know that they would deign to have their work published in the Tribune. That's what I'm saying. Leftist intellectuals. I'm not talking about Clarence Page. I'm not talking about dopes. I'm talking about people that have letters after their names.
But what are they? I mean, in reality, Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden are extremely popular with this younger age group. I mean, I don't know what the numbers were.
Yes.
For Bernie last time around, but if the age is a problem, then why were they such a motivating force for millennials and people in their 20s?
And Bernie and AOC, just trying to help the branding for her candidacy. Bernie and AOC campaigning together. They're out on the hustings together, shaking their groove things for candidates all over the country in the midterms.
Right. I mean, I see all over social media a real movement for Joe Biden because he's fun and he's kind of cool and he's that cool cat and he says goofy things, but it's fine when he does it.
Yeah.
It's he can make fun of people who run Dunkin' Donuts and people who are in wheelchairs but that's okay because it's just Joe being Joe.
Exact Scranton Joe. Old scrappy Scranton Joe.
Exactly.
Regular dude.
But
and I have to tell you what else he does? He makes plagiarism fun. I mean, I don't like plagiarists, but when Joe does it, I don't know. It's kind of fun.
When he calls Asians Orientals, it's no big deal. He just slipped up. Just a little thing.
Well,
he tolerated.
Here's a
Democrat.
The only reason I even bother to bring up this piece is because it prompted this question, I think at least in part, from Ross Douthat at the New York Times. He's supposed to be like center-right conservative Catholic. Serious question inspired by Ocasio-Cortez, tweets Douthat. Is there any young conservative politician with a significant following? Anyone who generally excites the very online or the grassroots right? What do you think about that? Serious question, talking about the lack of young talent on the left and thus the desire to elevate Ocasio-Cortez or Beto O'Rourke. What about on the right? Where's the young conservative politician with a significant following online or within the grassroots right? Asked Douthat. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. I'll let you have a crack at that, Kristen, after we hear from Jim in Tampa, Florida, who's on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. I think a couple points. The logical extension of self-esteem and the education system going sideways is that it yields people that go to work at a place like Vox and write an article like this. And it is the logical extension of I want my things now. Hand them to I want them now, mommy. And that's the one thing. I think the question about the young conservative up-and-comer is maybe there isn't one, but that's because the conservatives aren't looking for a young up-and-coming Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They're looking for somebody that can become seasoned and learn and be ready to actually accept the mantle of the presidency in the right time.
Yeah, I
So
think
those
that's well said, Jim. Thanks for the call. That's where I was going to go, at least in part. It's the fallacy of Chesterton's fence, right? Before you discard something because it looks old or out of place, maybe you should ask yourself why it was there in the first place. And so perhaps the founders had some insight into the human condition that should be considered before you say because it's old, it's bad, which is essentially the attitude of the left. They want to rewrite history anew with each passing day. And so maybe there is something to that, like what you said, Kristen, the idea of a life lived before you decide that you're going to hold yourself out to provide leadership to the most powerful nation on earth. Those life experiences that you can't learn in a book, that come from making intellectual and interpersonal connections and having trials and failures and successes that provide some layer to your leadership quotient.
Mm-hmm. And also you don't even know that you're missing that. It's like a piece of you that just kind of becomes like a layer of scales that you don't even realize as a younger person you are missing that texture. But I just have to say, while you've been talking, I've been coming up with campaign slogans for AOC.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
sure.
if
Great.
she does decide to run for president,
Yeah.
how's this one? AOC, I'm with she. Get it? Instead of I'm with her.
Because it rhymes?
Yes.
Sort of, yeah. All right.
That's it. So I just got that one.
The entire time I was talking, that's all you came up with?
I'll keep working on it.
It's
It's tough. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, it's not a lot rhymes.
No,
like
AOC. You got to stick with AOC. There's no question.
that. Yeah, you know me.
You can also come up with rhymes, things that rhyme with Marx. Those will also be accepted. Tom in Deer Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, hey, good morning. Great segment. You could take apart this essay in more ways than there are paragraphs, and you've touched on so many, but I'll just touch on this. In it, he suggested Arnold Schwarzenegger was disallowed to run for the same provision that he wasn't born here, and then the disappointment in that we should change the Constitution because Arnold Schwarzenegger was strong on climate change. So it's just typical Fox and typical Matt Glason. This is all they've got on the left. This is their intellect. It's really pathetic.
Thanks for the call, Tom. Yeah, hey, look, if somebody agrees with me and there's some constitutional problem they have, we'll just eliminate the constitutional problem.
Right.
I mean, that's great. He's right about that, too, Tom is. I want to suggest something else, though, about this this question that Dothat poses. He posed a serious question inspired by AOC. Well, I like Ross Dothat. I respect him. He's a great intellect, but that's nothing approximating a serious question.
No, I mean, and it's quite a lengthy piece, too.
So before everybody goes all Whitney Houston, starting with Ross, let me just say a couple of things. A lot of dopes have a following. Let me see how AOC holds up over time with her routine of reciting the Cliff's Notes version of Das Kapital.
How many bowls of ramen will she prepare for herself over the next 2 years?
Yeah. Let's just see how this flimflammery holds up over a little bit more time, number one. Number two, the issue is talent, right? So I don't care what age it is, and you don't need to have an election to win an election to be influential. So Jordan Peterson doesn't need to run for office to move the needle in terms of the debate in this country and this continent and the Western civilization generally. So, I mean, this stupid question is really beneath Ross, starts from faulty premises, so you get irrelevant answers. Now, the other thing, and this is not saying, young talent, always recruiting, developing talent. I agree with all that. But, Susan Boyle was discovered at age 46, just to go into the world of music, right, because of this talent show, Britain's Got Talent. So, yeah, always be looking and recruiting talent, but talent. And I'll tell you what, I'd rather have our talent be in our 40s and 50s with some life experiences, as you were saying, than like the new shiny object that we're always looking for to glom onto, and we don't take time to really measure twice and cut once before we go all in for Tommy Lahren or Candace Owens or somebody that we hope will be like, well, here's our Ocasio, here's our Beto. Who cares?
Well, looking in our own state, I mean, Jesse Jackson Jr., rising star, possibly presidential contender, completely crashed and burned. Aaron Schock, rising star in the Republican Party, rumored to even be running for governor before he even got the seat warm as a member of Congress, crash and burn.
And you couldn't have had more enthusiasm up until Aaron Schock, till the donor class got wind of what people inside the bubble actually knew about Aaron Schock and his flaws. It couldn't have been more enthusiastic. Why? Because he's like young and so what?
He's articulate and he's smart and he can talk about pensions and stuff.
Right. And he's right. But so what? It's just like it requires a deeper look if you're really assessing talent. And
I think we all get taken, and also with AOC. It was the biggest upset of that election cycle.
Well, I understand, but she wouldn't be even on the map were not for the D.C. press corps. And this is the point Carol Roth, actually, friend of the show, made in response to Dothat's question. The D.C. press corps deified her the same way they did Beto O'Rourke. The D.C. press corps made these individuals national political celebrities in a way they would never do for any conservative that may be worthy of that kind of attention based on the merits. So that's a big X factor as well.
I would agree with that.
Tony in Plainfield, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, thanks for taking my call, Dan. I totally agree with you insofar as there shouldn't have to be an age grouping for talent and leadership in the organization, in the conservative organization. But I think Ben Shapiro comes to mind very quickly because he's learned, he's well spoken, he's principled, and he's got the moxie to jump in there and duke it out with the left. And that's
okay.
what we need.
Yeah, he's all right. Thanks for the call, Tony. Paul in New Lenox. Hi, Paul.
Hello. Hi. Hey, guys, just something to throw out there. Dream team for the Dems. If you got rid of the age requirement, have Bernie Sanders and AOC run as Bernie the president, and she is the vice president. And if Bernie dies, then it's a win-win situation.
Okay.
Sounds like a serious proposal.
Paul is very excited about that prospect of that ticket.
He couldn't even get it out.
You've inspired other AOC slogans.
Oh, great.
Chuck tweeting, "You down with AOC? Yeah, you know me."
Right.
Well, naughty by nature.
I was going to say Run DMC.
Yeah, I'm so glad you didn't.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys, we all know it's hard to be perfect, especially when it comes to finding a great Christmas gift for your wife or girlfriend. But this year, you can score a perfect 10 with the Perfect 10 pajamas from Pajamagram. She'll look and feel like a perfect 10 when she puts on her Perfect 10 PJs. And you'll score a perfect 10 when you put these PJs under the tree. You don't have to wrap because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging, delivery by Christmas guaranteed, lifetime warranty on those bad boys, Perfect 10 pajamas. So go to pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs. That's 1-800-GIVE-PJs and tell them that Dan and Amy sent you.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie capsules contain 100% vine-ripened fruits and vegetables, tested pure with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind. And it is undeniably one of the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. You might ask, how can over 10 servings of 31 fruits and vegetables fit into 6 vegetarian capsules? Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water, some a little higher, some a little lower. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to take out the water and air, leaving only whole food, which maintains 99.9% of its original nutritional value. Along with diet and exercise, Mother Nature provides fruits and vegetables to help us maintain good health. Make sense? To order, go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751 and use discount code Chicago.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this show. Long-form interviews with opinion leaders and policymakers in our Against the Current series. The latest edition you want to check out features mayoral
Whoa.
the last.
Whoa.
I
mean, there's so many.
There's
there's 21 candidates.
Not this year.
Oh.
Not this year. Don Hayter. I'm still trying to think of slogans for AOC's campaign, especially if you layer in Bernie. Don Hayter, of course, the longtime Kellogg Northwestern Biz School professor, ran for mayor last series Republican 1987, and he's got great insights on the institutional problems with both parties as well as the existential problems with city finances. You want to check out what Don Hayter has to say at Against the Current at upstream-ideas.com, and then share your property tax stories, how the highest property taxes in the nation are impacting your home value, your quality of life, your desire to stay in Illinois. SaveYourHomeNow.org. SaveYourHomeNow.org is where you can share your story and read the stories of your neighbors. So all the property tax info, storyfied, but real stories, real data at SaveYourHomeNow.org, and the Don Hayter interview and more premium content at upstream-ideas.com.
Dashing through the snow to CVS we go. A $10 cash card for beauty brands and bows. Lights to dress the tree and stocking gifts galore. Candy cards and photo gifts and deals throughout the store. At CVS Pharmacy, we've got all the little things you need this holiday, like a $10 CVS cash card, yours when you spend $30 on select items. This week, M&Ms are 2 for $6 and photo cards are 30% off online. Dash to CVS Pharmacy today. Restrictions apply. See cvs.com/weekly ad for details.
Hey, Dad. I wanted to remind you that the holidays are close. Real close. And Mom and I don't need wool socks again. At Helzberg, you can get jewelry for Mom and get a free Nintendo Switch system for me. 2 gifts in one trip. I'm not saying you're a last-minute shopper, but I'm not saying that either.
Get gifts that get gifts at Helzberg Diamonds, like a free Nintendo Switch system when you spend $1,199 or more. Helzberg Diamonds, a Berkshire Hathaway company. Limited time offer while supplies last. See online or in-store for details. Game sold separately.
AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah. Down with AOC. Yeah, you know her. You know she. You down with AOC. Yeah, you know she. All right, we're getting there.
AOC, everything will be free.
Oh, that's pretty good. All right, keep working on that.
All right.
John and Palatine's offering some help.
Hey, Dan and Krista, how you doing? Krista just stole my thunder, but I was going to say, AOC, it's all free.
All right.
There we
for
go.
the call, John. All right.
Yep.
All right. We're workshopping
Little
this.
socialist-y. AOC. No? You don't like that one? All right.
Just keep spitballing. Keep working on it over there. We'll get you an accompanist. All right. Coming up at 6:36, how did the Google CEO hold up under querying from members of Congress? We'll discuss with Matt Taylor, the director of the new documentary about Google and Facebook. The Creepy Line, that's at 6:36. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Well, she is from the South Side, so she's got a little bit of props with her, I guess.
Yeah, right.
We're watching developments this morning. Yeah, props. We're watching developments in Israel this morning. At least 2 Israelis and 3 Palestinians have died in West Bank violence. Israeli Army radio tweeting out that a Palestinian shot and killed 2 Israelis unprovoked at a bus stop. It happened near a settlement in the central West Bank. Israeli forces then shot and killed 3 Palestinians suspected of stabbing and shooting Israelis in separate attacks. President Trump's former lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen will spend 3 years in prison. Our reporter Mark Mayfield recaps yesterday's Cohen Day in court.
NBC News legal expert Pete Williams reports a federal judge in New York set that sentence yesterday and ordered Cohen to report to federal prison on March the 6th.
Defense lawyers typically ask the judge to recommend a facility, and the one that they're recommending is a federal correctional institute, a prison in Otisville, New York.
Cohen pleaded guilty to tax fraud, banking fraud, and violations of campaign finance laws. He also admitted to lying to Congress about plans to build a Trump Tower in Moscow. Cohen was ordered to forfeit $500,000 and will pay more than $1 million in restitution. He was also hit with a $50,000 fine. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
The Senate going after dark money in political campaigns. Democrat Senator Jeanne Shaheen of Delaware arguing that dark money has a corrosive impact.
The American people have a right to know if the candidates they choose to represent them are supported by foreign groups and shady special interests.
U.S. Senate voting 50-49 to approve that bill. It's not likely to pass the Republican-led House, and President Trump is not expected to sign it. A Tennessee lawmaker in hot water this morning for suggesting vaccines may be causing autism. During a town hall meeting earlier this week, Republican Congressman-elect Mark Green questioned data from the CDC and others who have completely disproven that idea. Green is also a doctor, believes the CDC committed fraud in managing data on vaccines, and then late last night walked back all of those comments, saying that the doctor felt they had been misconstrued. Now, you've heard about attempts to tax text messages. Well, the FCC's decision on that issue may end states' attempts to tax them. The FCC ruling yesterday that text messages will be considered information services like email. State's Public Service Commission in California have proposed a surcharge on text messaging to offset its growing budget of making phone service available to the poor. Authorities are investigating after threatening graffiti was found at a high school on Chicago's north side. It was discovered in a bathroom at Lincoln Park High School. Security has been increased. One man is wounded, shot inside of a funeral home in Bridgeview. Police say that shooting happened last night at the Hahn Funeral Home in the 8200 block of South Harlem Avenue. And State Comptroller Susana Mendoza is having it out with fellow mayoral candidate Toni Preckwinkle for challenging her campaign petitions and those of 4 other African-American women in the race. The Illinois official also says she has more than enough names to get on the February 26 Chicago election ballot, but called the Cook County Board President's challenge shoddy. Blackhawks snap an 8-game losing streak with a 6-3 win over the Penguins. Bulls and Magic will do battle tonight in Mexico City. The news is a service of Eggland's Best Eggs, the only choice for your family. Are you on the go, hungry for a quick pick-me-up? Try Eggland's Best hard-cooked peeled eggs. Delicious taste, superior nutrition, and so convenient for your busy lifestyle. Only Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Hey, how would you like to have your mortgage or rent paid for an entire year? Would that qualify as a Christmas miracle? Yeah, well, it could happen if you enter and win our Christmas Mortgage Miracle Contest, running now through December 20th. But you can only win if you enter. And to do that, go to 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword miracle. That's 560theanswer.com. Keyword miracle to enter for a chance to have your mortgage or rent paid for all of 2019.
Winners don't wait for chances. They take them, seizing opportunities that come their way, having the courage necessary to make the game-winning play when it's all on the line. It's what sets us apart from the rest. Your home for Husky basketball is right here on the Northern Illinois Husky Sports Network.
The Huskies take on the Western Illinois Leathernecks this Monday night at 8. Don't miss a minute of NIU basketball on AM 560, The Answer.
When it's cold outside, you can dress for it. But when your furnace gives out, hey, a blanket fort can only do so much. So call your local 1-Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll replace your old furnace with a new high-efficiency one. And that beats a bunch of blankets any day. Right now, cozy up to big savings on a complete heating system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1-Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Brian Duncan, co-founder of Signature Bank.
Born and raised in Chicagoland, my partners and I knew this city needed a locally owned business bank. As fellow entrepreneurs, we know the challenges facing businesses, and we are invested in our customers' success. We are here to build mutually beneficial, long-term, lasting relationships with our customers. We look forward to helping our customers reach their goals every day, and we are here to see them succeed. At Signature Bank, you work directly with decision makers who understand your business and can deliver on their promises.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
It is 6:37 in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
8094 westbound traffic is slow from Burr to Klein Avenue. There's a crash there blocking the right shoulder. Eastbound traffic moves well. You've got Eden stop and go Cicero to Junction. 23 minutes Lake Hook to Montrose. Outbound 20. Eastbound Spur is heavy from Toll Plaza to Waukegan Road. On Kennedy, 28 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 22. Got Eisenhower delays start around Manheim. 41 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 31. At Stevenson, bottled up Harlem to Kedzie. There's a crash at Cicero on the left shoulder. And Ashland to the Ryan. 52 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 21 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 40. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, cloudy 42 today. Currently 27 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning, Chicago Tribune editorial board member Kristen McQuarrie. And Kristen, I don't know if you got a chance to watch Google CEO Sundar Pichai before members of the House this week. But I'll tell you what, Jack Dorsey, Zuckerberg, Sheryl Sandberg, now Pichai. I mean, it is eerily reminiscent to me watching them deny anti-conservative bias. Eerily reminiscent of big tobacco CEOs before Congress all raising their hands, swearing to tell the truth and nothing but the truth in offering their testimony. And denying that nicotine was addictive, despite generations of scientific research they had at their disposal, we know that indicated something else. I mean, it really is. And let me just give you an example. Here's Pichai at the Google Postmortem Cry Fest in 2016. This video that came to light back in the fall, this past fall only. Breitbart had it among, I think maybe it was Breitbart who got it originally. But here's Pichai following Larry and Sergey and preceding every other C-suite executive at Google to decry Trump's victory and commiserate with the Googleists about it.
We have, we undertook a very thorough investigation, and in 2016. We now know that there were two main ad accounts linked.
That's not it. This is it. Here's Sundar.
There is a lot of serious note, there is a lot of fear within Google. I've gotten a lot of emails, to my note back, and I would tell most Googlers there are people who are very afraid. And Sergey pointed out the, many groups, women, blacks, people who are afraid based on religion, people who are afraid because they are not sure of their status, the LGBTQ community, and I can go on. There is a lot of fear, and so I think it's important to reach out, be aware of that fear. I would be sensitive and try and talk and have conversations to the extent possible. We are so deeply committed to our values. Sergey mentioned at the start, nothing will change. I think we'll stand up always for the values we believe in. And especially, I think, in a society, you stand up for people who are minorities. And that's what defines a society, and we'll continue to do that.
What about standing up for minorities within Google, like conservative James Damore? Don't stand up for them. So listen, so you heard what he said there in 2016 after the election. Stand up for minorities, what he wants to promote, consistent with the culture there. So this was sort of crystallized by the exchange he had with Congressman Jim Jordan from Ohio. And the issue that was the focus was this Google employee named Eliana Murillo, who emailed about turning out the Latino vote in key states, Nevada and Florida. Rides to the polls, the way ostensibly Google was returning searches, at least that's a question. So think about what Pichai said back in 2016, and then listen to this exchange with Jim Jordan and see if you think that this is credible. Here's Jim Jordan sort of laying out the case. Look, I don't have a problem with Google being civically active, but I do have a problem with the particular phrase. This is where the problem arises.
Look, I actually think that's all okay, right? I think that's just a good corporate citizen encouraging voter participation, encouraging people to participate in our election process. I think so far those sentences are just fine, but then there's 3 words at the end of each sentence that do cause me real concern. And those 3 words are, we push to get out the Latino vote with our features in key states. Now suddenly it gets political. We supported partners like Voto Latino to pay for rides to the polls in key states. Now that makes everything different. So I got really just one question for you. Why? Why did Google configure its features and pay for rides to the polls to get out the Latino vote only in key states?
Congressman, as I said earlier, we found no evidence to substantiate those claims. The only effort we do around elections.
So your head of multicultural marketing, who you praised her work in this email, gave her a shout out, was lying when she said you were trying to get out the Latino vote in key states?
We today, in the U.S., around elections, we make it, and this is what users look to us for, where to register to vote, where to find your nearest polling place, what are the hours they are open, and we do those things effectively. As Google, we don't have goals around pushing out to get any particular segment. We don't participate in partisan activities. We engage with both campaigns. We support and sponsor debates across both sides of the aisle, and we provide users with information to get to election.
I'm sorry, but I find that difficult to believe, particularly because of Mr. Pichai's own words about focus on minority communities. In addition to the entire video you should watch, it's more than an hour long, their 2016 post-election conference, and all that you heard from Sergey Brin and Larry Page and Sundar Pichai and the rest of the Google execs. And I also find it hard to believe because I've seen The Creepy Line about Google and Facebook, this documentary that you should see. And we're pleased to be joined by Matt Taylor, who is the director of said documentary, for reaction to what Mr. Pichai testified to on the Hill. Matt, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So what about that? Sundar says there's no partisan activities. They just provide polling place information and other generic information about participation and voting. They have no perspective on particular turnout. They have no perspective on elections in particular states. They just want more civic participation. And what's wrong with that?
Well, I mean, basically the nuts and bolts of it, what's wrong with it is if they are targeting key states, they have ceased to be just civic corporate helpers, and they have actually entered into the world of what is falls under the FEC. I mean, look, if you're taking people to a poll, if you're targeting people, you're taking them to the polling place that has a monetary value in our election system, you have to file that any data firm, advertising from anyone who works for an election for a super PAC has to file and has to be public. And those would be like in-kind donations to whichever candidate they were in fact helping, which I think we all know who they were helping. So that's kind of a fundamental issue that they're basically giving free services away. And this kind of comes down to one of the issues with Google when they play in elections, is that they are doing things that are giving one candidate or one cause a monetary value that would otherwise, by any other vendor, have to be public. I mean, it's a public election. So that's a big issue right there.
Can you talk about, just aside from the tangible driving people to the polls type examples that came up in this testimony, but what is the more sinister or more concerning aspect of this in terms of search? Break this down for me. When I go on Google, is there a concern that I'm being steered to certain content to influence my voting behavior, and is that also something that you think should be reported?
Well, here's the deal. Ultimately, what people have to understand is that the word bias thrown around in the testimony all the time. Is Google biased? No, Google's not biased. Google's not biased. Google's not biased. By definition, the search engine must be biased. Because if I search for, we use this example in the film, what is the best dog food? It has to do two things that are absolutely critical. Number one, it has to choose 10 pages out of billions. And number two, and then kind of more importantly, you have to put them in order. Something always has to go to the top. So when you're asking it, what's the best dog food or where I should go to for vacation, I mean, it's debatable whether you're even getting the best results there or you're getting the results that Google wants you to get. But if you ask it, what's the best candidate or how should I think about this cause, well, that all of a sudden becomes entirely critical because the thing is one candidate will always go to the top because ultimately what Google has created as a search engine is a giant kind of information sifting system that kind of maps our perception. So it's always going to choose one thing over another. And ultimately, that's where the engineers have encoded their ethics to choose something to make something better over something else or good over bad or whatever. So if Mr. Chai wants to say, hey, look, we're going to police hate speech, but we're not biased, those two statements don't line up.
Right, I think
when it comes to
the issue is the criteria they use, right? Are they using criteria to wire those search results in such a way as to minimize profiles on Republican or conservative candidates to the benefit of profiles or information about Democrat candidates, for example, or in this case with this this email that came to light, are they wiring the algorithms such that they're trying to drive Latino turnout in Nevada and Florida for the benefit of Democrat candidates there? That seems to be the question, the criteria they use, and is there evidence of rigging the searches in that way?
I mean, even if you were to give Google the benefit of the doubt, say they're not actively doing it, there is no way to get around the fact that the people who build the machine have preferences. They just do, because remember, it still has to make a decision. Now you do add things that, look, you don't have to take my word for it. You can just watch the videos and read the leaked memos and all the other things that have been coming out of Google for the last couple of months. They can sit there and say, oh, there's none. It doesn't show in these things that we keep seeing. In addition, we don't ask these questions about how people leave in other companies. I don't say how many Democrats work at Microsoft or at Apple or at Honda. It's just Google and Facebook because they control the information we see. They built the censorship machine and the surveillance platforms. And so I think ultimately this is where it does matter who's building, who's choosing. You're right, the criteria on which we see things. This is pretty much the question of the day. How much information, where are we going to be steered? These systems are designed to surveil and to manipulate us. And that people need to start coming to this understanding that that's what they are doing, and that's what they're pushing us in these different directions. And hey, look, just watch the videos, read the memos. That's their perspective.
What is your perspective on the company CEO's reaction? Both Google, Facebook stock has tanked, or I'm not sure if it's climbing back up, but do you think that they are nervous about this perception that they are anti-conservative, and are they doing things to rebuild that trust relationship, in your opinion?
I think Google and Facebook have very different positions in the market. I think Facebook is incredibly vulnerable because I don't have to use Facebook. That's a product that I don't have to use. That's a company that has been shown to use incredibly aggressive Gestapo-like tactics by hiring firms to be other people. Google, on the other hand, has 90% of search. I don't have a choice. So Google doesn't have to take aggressive tactics that Facebook does. There is no alternative right now for a number of Google products. You don't need to use Facebook. I don't need to use anything they do. I don't even need to touch them. I can't visit a website without encountering a Google Analytics, Google AdWords, anything. AdWords. I can't. It's hard to do. We had to use Google search to even make this movie. And so I think Google is probably less concerned than Facebook because there just is no alternative. They have a huge lobbying presence in Washington. Parts of the whole entire Apple mail system, Google servers, New York Times mail system, Google servers, parts of our government use Google. So they're fairly integrated, and they're probably in a much safer position than, say, Facebook.
Oh, and also Facebook seems to be getting hit from all sides in a way that Google was not. I mean, it's not just having some former execs, having their James Damore, like Palmer Luckey, the Oculus VR founder, sort of break bad after his separation from Facebook about the culture within Facebook, much like Damore talked about the culture within Google. But it seems now that Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg are taking a lot of heat from the left as well, so they're getting squeezed in a way that Google is not.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I like to joke. You can see who Google donated to in that hearing yesterday. These companies donate to candidates, and there's an integration. But again, Facebook is cool. Facebook is useful, but Google is a flat-out utility. I mean, you have to use these systems to conduct your business. Your business is not on page one of Google search. You just don't exist. Facebook doesn't have that kind of control. And again, I think that Google is a smarter company. They're a longer-thinking company. They make better products, and their leadership and their engineering teams and everything are just overall better. They're more controlled. You saw Sundar Pichai. He was killer in the hearing. Who was sympathetic. I think in a lot of ways, some of the motives of some of the higher ups in Google are also less. They're more utopian versus kind of Zuckerberg, which I find to be more of a cruel and kind of mean motive. When you see the kinds of things they've been doing.
Refresh our listeners' recollection about the genesis of the name for your documentary, The Creepy Line. What's The Creepy Line?
Well, in 2010, former Google CEO Eric Schmidt was doing an interview, I believe, with The Atlantic, and he said that Google policy is to go right into the creepy line, but not cross it. And we found it to be a very peculiar choice of words. Creepy is bad. I mean, there's no way for creepy to not be bad. As Jordan Peterson says in the film, a creepy mugger is worse than a mugger. And that's 2010. I mean, 8 years ago, or almost 9 years ago. And so you have Google says, hey, we want to go up to this unethical, immoral area, but we're not going to cross it. We think they cross it every day, all day, and people don't know, and that's why we made this film.
He is Matt Taylor, director of the documentary The Creepy Line on bias at Google and Facebook. You can get it on streaming services, at least for now. Matt Taylor, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Consumer prices flat in November. 4 states are suing to stop increased use of coal. Airlines predicting a 5% increase in holiday travel. Those stories next.
Gold is a better way. Gold is a better way. Gold is a betterway.com. Imagine doing business with a company that seeks to add massive value before asking for your business. Hi, my name's Adam Barata. I'm the co-owner of Advantage Gold and the author of the now national best-selling book, Gold is a Better Way. This book may not be for you, but if you're like most people, you'll be blown away when you learn why gold is set to soar to over $10,000. And as a bonus for hitting the bestsellers list, I've been gifted 250 copies from my publisher. If you have an IRA or 401k with over $100,000, I want to send you a copy of the national best-selling book. You can buy it on Amazon or go to Barnes & Noble or be among the first 250 people to reply. Just text the word bestseller to 49776. That's bestseller to 49776 to claim your free national best-selling book now. That's the word bestseller to 49776. We promise to add massive value before ever asking for your business. Just text the word bestseller to 49776.
Consumer prices unchanged last month, the lowest reading since prices fell in March. In his 2016 campaign, President Trump promised to revitalize America's coal industry. He's been delivering on his promise, but now 4 states are trying to stop coal's comeback. New York, Washington, California, and New Mexico, all liberal states, say burning coal will harm their residents' health. An airline trade group says holiday air travel this season will increase by 5%. That translates to 2.5 million people a day, which would mean an increase of 126,000 passengers and overcrowded airports from coast to coast. But the 2 least busy days will be Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
If you're not pleased with your child's progress this school year, now's the time to consider enrolling your son or daughter in St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. With an ongoing enrollment program, it's never too late. For years, St. John's Northwestern Military Academy has served young men and is now an excellent co-ed environment. Not a school for troubled kids, but one that will prepare young men and women for college by focusing on rigorous academics and leadership with a safe, secure, and structured environment free from distractions that's conducive to successful learning. St. John's Northwestern Military Academy in the beautiful Lake Country region of southeast Wisconsin inspires personal growth through a commitment to excellence in academics, spiritual, and character development, athletics, and their military traditions. Find out more about St. John's Northwestern Military Academy ongoing enrollment. Call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET. Or visit their website, sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
The quivers, the shivers, goosebumps. That's what our customers say before 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning repairs their furnace. Call us. We'll fix it right, stand by our work, and give you our straightforward pricing, which means no hourly charges. How's that for goosebumps? Right now, get big savings on any heating repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
They want to punish Saudi Arabia. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Some senators plan to vote today on a resolution in response to the murder of a Saudi Washington Post columnist. Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Dave, the resolution calling on the U.S. to pull assistance from the Saudi-led war in Yemen has bipartisan support. Democratic Senator Bob Menendez says lawmakers need to send a message to the world.
Just because you're our ally, you cannot kill with impunity and believe you can get away with it.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says Saudi Arabia's royal family has denied knowledge of the murder.
This is still a developing set of facts with respect to the murder of Jamal Khashoggi.
U.S. intelligence officials have said the Saudi crown prince was complicit in the killing of Khashoggi. Dave?
Rachel, the president's been skeptical of that. And in his ongoing battle against what he calls the fake news, he's not hosting what's been an annual White House Christmas party for the media. There's a new Fox poll putting President Trump's job approval rating at 46%.
His work on the economy still gets high marks, with 50% liking what they've seen, but his handling of immigration is in the low 40s and healthcare down in the 30s.
Fox's Gernal Scott. People were also asked about the special counsel's investigation. 48% believe the Trump campaign coordinated with Russia. 51% don't think the special counsel will find the president committed an impeachable offense. The president's ex-lawyer, Michael Cohen, was sentenced to 3 years in prison for lying to Congress, tax evasion, and campaign finance violations.
He said that blind loyalty to Donald Trump led me to choose a path of darkness
over light. And that time and again, I felt it necessary to cover up for his dirty deeds.
That's Fox's Rick Leventhal. Before former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn is sentenced next week for lying to the FBI. The judge wants the special counsel to answer questions about Flynn's allegation he was pushed not to bring a lawyer with him to the questioning. In West Virginia, cheers after 3 people missing in an abandoned coal mine since the weekend were rescued alive last night, all said to be okay. This is Fox News.
26 degrees is our temperature officially at O'Hare at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Authorities continue investigating after threatening graffiti was found inside of a high school on Chicago's north side. A message referencing December 14 was discovered in a bathroom at Lincoln Park High School, reported to police yesterday. Security is increased this morning. One man is wounded, shot inside of a funeral home in Bridgeview. Police say the shooting happened last night at the Hahn Funeral Home on South Harlem Avenue. The victim suffering non-life-threatening injuries. No arrests have been made. Federal officials say that air monitors recorded dangerous levels of brain-damaging manganese near a storage facility on Chicago's southeast side. Chicago Tribune first reported that high manganese levels at Watco Transloading were found by the U.S. EPA this fall. It's part of a probe of companies that supplied raw materials to steel mills in northwest Indiana. Mayor Emanuel laying out his dream plan to help the city deal with the growing pension crisis. Speaking yesterday to the city council, the mayor proposed legalizing marijuana and opening up a casino to help fund pension payments, set to increase by $1 billion annually in 2023.
Simply put, leaders in the past made commitments without the resources to back them up. And now, inevitably, the bill has come due.
In addition, he called for a constitutional amendment to allow for a reduction in public workers' pension benefits. Meantime, the mayor suggested a site for that Chicago casino on the far southeast side near the Illinois International Port District. This morning, city officials will announce that Ferrara Candy is moving its headquarters and 400 jobs from Oak Brook Terrace to Chicago. Ferrara is the company behind Lemonheads and Red Hots. The company joins Walgreens as the second tenant in the redeveloped old post office along Congress Parkway. Blackhawks snap an 8-game losing streak with a 6-3 win over the Penguins at the UC. Bulls and Magic set to do battle tonight in Mexico City. The news, a service of Peloton, the perfect gift for them and you. There's still a chance to give the gift of a Peloton bike when you order by 12/20. You get a free welcome gift, so you still have Peloton under the tree this holiday. See onepeloton.com, that's onepeloton.com, or visit them at 520 Michigan Avenue, Oak Brook Center, and Westfield, Old Orchard. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I'm Dan Proft.
And I'm Amy Jacobson.
And if you're a small business owner or you make the marketing or advertising decisions for a business, then listen up.
Once again, our annual Food for the Poor campaign is underway to raise money for children suffering from poverty in Haiti. We've partnered with Food for the Poor to provide food and clean water to several thousand children this year.
And here's how your business can be a part of this. Become a Food for the Poor business benefactor. Just make a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. And AM 560 will give you 40 60-second commercials to air here on AM 560 The Answer between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday at no additional cost to you.
That's the best advertising deal in all of Chicago. To take advantage of this deal, just call Anjanette Natowski at 847-472-8951. Again, that's 847-472-8951. One more time. 847-472-8951.
It's the holiday sales event at Ford. It's a big deal, and we're busy making preparations to get you the best deals of the year. Because unlike Santa's presents, ours don't just magically appear. At Ford, ours are built in real factories, where pickup trucks come with best-in-class towing and payload, where SUVs are built with available features like terrain management and driver assist technologies, and where every bolt, stitch, and line of code is tested and tested again. But you don't have to write Santa a letter to get these presents. naughty, or nice, just come see your Ford dealer during our holiday sales event for our best offers of the year. Ford, built for the holidays. Built Ford proud.
Best-in-class towing and payload when properly configured. Class is light-duty pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Come into Lowe's for the perfect gift and save $100 on a Cobalt 2-tool 24-volt max cordless combo kit. Now only $129. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Offer valid through 12/24 while supplies last. See store for details. U.S. only.
At 7:08, a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Eden's inbound traffic is heavy. Foster to Montrose, it's 21 minutes. Lake Cook Junction, outbound 25. Kennedy, 42 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 19 from Montrose, 15 in the Express. Outbound, it's 38 minutes to O'Hare. On Eisenhower, delays start around Manheim, 45 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 34. Van Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 28 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop 432. Northbound Lakeshore Drive is heavy, 31st to Roosevelt. Crash blocking the left lane. Tri-State southbound heavy, 137 at Bradley. Crash the two left lanes. Northbound delays Archer to the Hinsdale Oasis up to Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Turning out cloudy for today with a high reaching 42. Some on and off rain and drizzle tonight, low 36. Morning rain tomorrow, then a cloudy day, high 44. Sun and clouds on Saturday, high 43. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Officially 25 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning, Kristen McQuarrie from the Chicago Tribune editorial board. Yesterday, GOP appropriators in the House floated a continuing resolution that included $5 billion in border wall funding. So the question is, will they move on this and give lie to Nancy Pelosi's pronouncement that Trump doesn't have the votes to pass border wall funding in the House? Will House Republicans stand by President Trump's border wall funding or bust position? For an answer to that question and more, we're pleased to be joined by our friend, Wisconsin Republican Congressman Sean Duffy. Sean, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
It is great to be with you, Dan. Thanks for having me on. And Kristen, good morning to you as well.
Good morning.
So the answer, will you stand behind President Trump's border wall funding or bust position?
Well, I got to tell you, it was fascinating to watch Nancy Pelosi tell the president that Republicans don't have the votes in the House to pass a border bill with $5 billion in it. I mean, who is Nancy Pelosi to try to read what's going to happen in the Republican conference? I would just note that she's not that well liked and doesn't come to our meetings. So the answer is this, yes. We have the votes in the House to pass a budget bill with $5 billion for a border wall. And what's going to happen is, as we're butting up to Christmas and we're butting up to a new Congress when Nancy takes over, the question becomes, do we just want to pass that bill right now, or do we want to, wait until next week as we still try to negotiate with the Senate to find some compromise on some deal that would give us border security? And we opted to say, listen, let's still try to negotiate. We don't have to do it this week. Let's see if we can cut a deal with, Chuck in the Senate and see if we can still pass something that keeps the government open.
But you do have to do something before the 21st. Is that right?
True. So that's true. So when we're going to leave Congress today, we'll have votes at 11:30 Eastern time, and then we're on 24-hour notice, is what Speaker Ryan and Kevin McCarthy told us. Next week we'll come back at some point, whether it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Hopefully we'll have a deal with the Senate, and if not, we're going to pass our bill with the $5 billion in it, and it's going to pass. And then we'll wait and see what happens.
What's the conversation within caucus like regarding the possibility of this, quote unquote shutdown if Senate Democrats won't play ball?
So there a lot of us in the House love the president's policies and what he's trying to do. He has a Republican in the Senate always haven't loved the president as much as the House. I think there's a little bit of frustration where the president's saying, I'll take the blame. He's saying he'll take the blame in the meeting with Chuck and Nancy. And the truth is, most Americans want border security. They look at the caravans coming up from South America, and they want us to make sure that we Americans say who comes in. We want to make sure we keep bad people out. As I'm sure in Chicago, like northern Wisconsin, drugs, meth, and heroin are killing our communities. It all comes across the southern border. So Americans want border security. And if Chuck and Nancy can't offer up $5 billion to start that project up, I think most Americans would think they're out of touch. So if the president was saying, I'm going to take responsibility, my point was, no, Mr. President, this is Chuck's problem that he's not willing to take responsibility for doing what America wants, which is securing the border. And this brings me to just one other point. I thought it was, fascinating to see this fight take place, where we have this amazing access to see the negotiations go on between, Chuck and Nancy and the president. We normally don't see that kind of content. And what became abundantly clear for me is Nancy Pelosi is trying to be the speaker. And the way it works is in your conference, so that's all the Democrats in the House, they get a vote for the speaker. And to win, you only need a majority of the Democrats. On January 3rd, you need a majority of the whole Congress. So Republicans get a vote as well. And so it's easy to get a majority of Democrats. It's way harder to get a majority of the whole House. She doesn't have the votes yet to get 218 votes, which is half the House plus one. 435 is a full House. So she's actually strategizing, I can't let the border wall funding, which is good for America, pass. Because if it does, I won't become the speaker. So normally she might try to cut a deal with the president, but because she's looking out for her own speaker race, she can't cut a deal with the president because she then won't be the speaker. And so, again, she's looking out for Nancy, not for America.
Could you talk about why a government shutdown is still has leverage? I know Mitch McConnell doesn't like it. Maybe it's an optics thing, but I mean, from past shutdowns, all essential services continue: air traffic control, law enforcement, power grid maintenance, Medicaid payments, Social Security payments. Maybe we're going to miss out on national parks, and I'm not going to one over the holiday break. But why is that? Why does that continue to be a subject that really does have resonance within the Republican Party?
So, Kristen, you sound like my wife, actually. She was saying the same thing to me. Like, what? Who cares? Because
exactly.
America gets a joke. The government still runs, right?
Shut it down every Tuesday.
Right. But I do think that Americans want their government to work, and they want their Congress to work, right? I mean, they really do. And they think, come on, you guys should be able to figure this stuff out. And so I think just on the functionality of the institution, people get really frustrated by that. And then if those the essential services, you're right, do run, but those, employees who do get shut down, people over Christmas, CNN will run stories and say, aren't Republicans cruel? We have government employees who aren't going to get paychecks. And we all know that they're going to get time off. They're not going to have to come to work. And by the way, they're going to get paid for that time anyway.
Exactly.
It's usually a pretty good deal, but it doesn't matter. That's the messaging that will come out from the left. And one other point, too, people get frustrated with the Congress. But the Congress is a representation of the people as a whole, and you've seen the country become far more divided on politics. We now have, avowed socialists that are like, listen, this is what we want America to be. That was never the case, 15, 20 years ago. And then we have a harder right. And so as America has become divided, so too has the people they have sent to the Congress to try to work together. And though they get frustrated, they're the ones who also have, can't sit at a Christmas dinner or a Thanksgiving dinner and have a conversation about politics because they get so mad. They're like, but why doesn't the Congress get along?
Before we let you go, I wanted to get any insights you care to offer what the conversation is like within the House Republican caucus about impeachment in the new year with, against the backdrop of the Cohen sentencing yesterday and everything else that's swirling around the president.
I'll tell you this. I was a former prosecutor and I was a lawyer. And when you write a contract, the person who has the pen is always very confident in the language. The person who didn't write the contract is always skeptical of what was put in the contract by the other guy. There's a lack of trust there. And I think Democrats, as we held the pen, didn't always trust us to do things that we think they should have, been in agreement on. Maybe they'll think, okay, now that we have the pen, we could, put our own fingerprints on legislation and, we can work together and pass bills that are in the mainstream of American ideas. That's my hope. But I gotta tell you, Dan, as the more I'm on financial services, Maxine Waters is going to be my ranking. She's going to be my chairwoman now. Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah. Yeah, so they're not going to. I don't think they're going to try to legislate. They're going to try to investigate and impeach the president, and they can have at it. But that's not what the American people want. We learned that when Republicans tried to impeach Bill Clinton. They want you to govern, and so I think there'll be a backlash, and they'll have a hard time keeping the House going down that path. And if I can just tell you one insight I have, I was in the class of 2010 when we had this huge wave, and John Boehner tried to say, listen, let's try to have some guardrails on what we're doing. Let's not go to the far right wing. We won't get it done because Barack Obama is the president. We still have the Democrat Senate. Let's try to use our power in the House to get as much as possible. And our conservative base, which I was one of, was like, listen, we need to, we need to go further. We need to go harder. And Boehner would be like, no, listen, we're not going to win if we do that. And you get a lot of pressure from the people back at home who support you. I saw that in 2010. We came in 2011. The left-wing base is so riled up that even if Nancy Pelosi from San Francisco tries to contain the energy in her new Democrat socialist members, she will not be able to do it because they'll go home and say, I thought you were going to impeach the president. Right. I thought we were going to defund ICE. This is going to be a radical movement, and Nancy Pelosi is going to be seen as the moderate of this movement. And imagine that, and I think it's not going to play well, and put your seatbelts on. It's going to be a ride.
He is Sean Duffy, congressman from the 7th District in Wisconsin. Sean, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan and Kristen, have a great morning. Thanks for having me on.
You too. Take care. Good luck. And you joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you a fiduciary? If you're the owner or officer of a company sponsoring a corporate retirement plan, then you are a fiduciary. Why is this important? As a fiduciary, you may be held personally liable for breaches in your 401k plan. There has been a recent surge in lawsuits related to excessive fees and fiduciary breaches targeting 401k plans, their owners, and officers. One of our newest charity golf benefactors, Clear Financial Strategies, is your retirement plan CFO, bringing together a specialized fiduciary compliance and management team to help prevent potential lawsuits, all at competitive costs. Discover if your 401k contains any hidden fees or risks, and how Clear Financial Strategies is a registered investment advisor that's a true fiduciary. Professionals placing your interests first. I suggest you request Clear Financial Strategies custom report on company retirement plan risks. Visit my401krisks.com. That's my401krisks.com. Do it today, my401krisks.com.
Have you ever dreamed of going to Bible college or being trained for ministry? Have you been looking for a college that balances grace and faith? Well, Charis Bible College has over 60 locations worldwide that will prepare you to step into the purpose and calling that God has for you. A journey begins with a first step. Go to charisbiblecollege.org. That's Charis, Charis, or call 844-360-9577 and find out why thousands of students go to Charis. Choose from their main campus in beautiful Woodland Park, Colorado, or a branch campus. There are also correspondence and online options. Multiple start dates are available throughout the year. Check them out at charisbiblecollege.org or call 844-360-9577. That's charisbiblecollege.org or call 844-360-9577. charisbiblecollege.org. Your journey starts here.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
Oh, no colds, no flu, lots of energy, just overall well-being. It's just if I stop taking it, I see the difference. I would never stop with these. I would keep them on hand always.
Well, I got more energy for sure. I don't feel the same if I don't take this every day. I think it's improved my life greatly because I was feeling real sluggish before, sluggish and tired. I had like this brain fog. It's all gone now. I've been taking this stuff, and I feel like I have the energy of an 18-year-old with the looks of a 30-year-old, and I'm 50. It's crazy. This stuff is crazy. I love it.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. Stay warm this winter. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for winter storms and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Kristen McQuarrie, Chicago Trib Ed Board member, in for Amy J this morning. And again, we're nearing our goal for our 2018 Food for the Poor campaign. Our goal financially to achieve our goal substantively, which is to feed for a year and provide water for life for 3,000 children in Haiti this Christmas season. And joining us for a discussion on this is Todd Chapman, Food for the Poor. He's a child advocate, and Todd's been one of the individuals you've heard clips from as we've talked about Food for the Poor over the last couple of weeks, because he's spent a lot of time in Haiti. And honestly, I wish we could just put on the air, Todd, what you and Kristen were talking about, since Kristen's been to Haiti as well with her father, who goes there routinely, and just sharing like the back and forth between you two about your experiences, I think really is illustrative of the need that we're trying to fill in some small way.
We could try to recreate that.
Well, I mean, seriously, Kristen, why don't you start with your experience and get Todd's reaction?
So my dad is very involved with a Haitian organization in Rockford, where I'm from, and so my two sisters and I went with him in 2015, and we were in the Cap Haitian area, but we saw Shada. It's
been to Shada?
You just can't even describe it. And coming home from an experience like that, you really have to sort of decompress and reevaluate your life. It took some time to kind of readjust to all of the things that we have here. You don't turn on a water faucet after going to Haiti without thinking about it. So it was just a great experience, and we were with people from Food for the Poor the whole trip. What struck me was that it's not just bringing people like me down there to see it and to kind of get you engaged, but there's an accountability mechanism. We were going to the warehouses to make sure that the food was being delivered. We were going to Shada and watching, okay, this is the day that they're feeding 500 people little bowls of rice and beans. So to me, it was just also an accountability mechanism, making sure that people's money is actually getting to the people, and you see it when you're there.
Yeah. This is awesome. I don't often get to hear, input from someone who is a civilian, if you will, but has witnessed the work of Food for the Poor in a setting like that. So I'm encouraged to hear that everything we talk about and try to do, you actually saw it lived out and are verifying that. So that's really encouraging. But yeah, if you're not familiar with Food for the Poor, one of the largest international relief and development organizations in the U.S., 20th largest charity overall in the U.S., but really in many respects kind of a well-kept secret. People will ask, well, I've never heard of Food for the Poor, must be really small. And when I tell them, actually it's about $1 billion organization, they're kind of shocked by that. But that's because not going to spend a lot of money doing big marketing campaigns and things like that, because Food for the Poor has always wanted the majority of the funds that are donated so generously, and again, typically by private citizens. Don't get a lot of big grant money or anything like that. It's just people like you and me just giving $100 here, $200 there, but for more than 36 years, providing significant life change in Haiti and 16 other countries, and so. Just delighted, to be back here. It was our third year, I think, with AM 560, The Answer, and every campaign has been amazing. So many lives touched and changed, and so really hoping that again this year the Answer listeners will get on board. And so far, it's going great. So
95 cents on the dollar.
Yep.
Charity Navigator, 5-star rated, in part because 95 cents on the dollar.
Better Business Bureau, Ministry Watch, a couple places you can check out, and just verify that we do what we say we're going to do and get the highest marks.
And one of the things that you do, I think one of the watchwords we've tried to emphasize here, and Kristen was sort of speaking to that, is sustainability. This is about building infrastructure to provide that clean water for life, to provide the mechanism to distribute food, sort of the essentials of living in Haiti. And so that's really important, because it's not just you're not just changing a life for the Christmas season, you're changing a life in perpetuity.
Yeah, and one of our key initiatives right now that we're really excited about and just seeing significant traction is a greater emphasis on providing feeding programs and food for schools. Because, Haiti, by the way, Haiti, the poorest country on this side of the world, devastatingly poor. It's about 11 million people, 80 to 90% trying to survive on $2 a day U.S. And effectively all of the food that comes into the country now has to be imported. They've been under a 3-year drought. They can only raise about 10% of the food that they need to feed their own population. And so, I have so many people say, well, yeah, they're poor, but everything's a lot cheaper. I'm like, no, it's actually more expensive. The average Haitian will spend 90% of their income on food. And so that's a huge problem. Clean water, as you talked about, that's a massive problem, addressing both of those. But the other big challenge, and this is so critical to breaking the chain of, multi-generational poverty, is education. And so, when you've got poverty like that, and school is not free, it's not compulsory. You have to pay for uniforms and books and programs. So, the vast majority of kids can't go. So Food for the Poor has begun to work actively in funding feeding programs in schools and actually providing scholarships to get kids into school. And when we launched this initiative earlier this year, we thought that we'd have about 500 schools participating in our feeding program. Well, we hit that mark immediately, and now the number of schools that are saying, hey, we want part of this feeding program, it's gone up to 750 schools across the country. Mm-hmm. But this is so critical because number one, the kids need the food. Number two, they need the education, and those two go hand in hand. Even if kids come to school but they're malnourished, they're not going to be learning as effectively as they need to. And so this is a huge thing, and we really are trying to change the future of this country by impacting the kids today.
And we've gotten some leadership from the business community to help reach our goal and help you, Todd, and Food for the Poor change the future for those kids and those families in that country. And I remarked upon this earlier in the show, but I think it bears repeating. It's interesting to see other nonprofits donating being business benefactors donating to this campaign. I think it speaks to Food for the Poor's reputation. So Grace Lutheran Church and Streamwood and Waterleaf Women's Clinic, a crisis pregnancy center, and CMT Research Foundation, which deals with degenerative muscle, research into a degenerative muscle condition. In addition to businesses like Harding's Heavy Equipment and the Elevator Consultants, the Angler's Outlet, Palatine Complete Dental, so many more. If you want to join the Business Benefactor Program and provide the leadership that these businesses and nonprofits are providing, call our sales manager. Her name is Ann Jeanette. Her number is 847-472-8951, 847-472-8951. $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor gets you in the program. And as a thank you from us, we profile your business on our airwaves through 40 complimentary 60-second commercials that will air primetime hours on AM 560, weekdays 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. Todd, thanks for joining us. We're going to pick up this conversation in the 8 o'clock hour, but now we turn it over to Mike Scott for the headlines.
Skies are mostly clear. We have 26 degrees at 7:32, and French authorities this morning have identified the gunman responsible for the deadly Christmas market shooting. NBC's Richard Engel is in Strasbourg.
Sharif Shakat, a 29-year-old career criminal born in France. 27 convictions for theft and violence. Police say he became an Islamic extremist in prison.
3 were killed, dozens injured. Now reports say that Shakat yelled, "God is great" in Arabic while shooting, and the manhunt continues across Europe. Michael Cohen's attorney Lanny Davis says his client owned up to mistakes.
He has a hard road with people like yourself and, quite frankly, with me when I first decided whether to represent him, to convince me that he is genuinely changed and been transformed.
Davis says he continues to look forward to helping Cohen tell everything he knows. President Trump continues to spar with top Democrats over funding for a border wall, but David Rubin, the former mayor of Shiloh, Israel, believes a wall across the U.S.-Mexico border would be efficient.
There was not one illegal immigrant that made it through the southern border into Israel.
Meantime, on Capitol Hill, Nancy Pelosi is agreeing to accept term limits to lock down support for her to be the next Speaker of the House. Although that is not guaranteed, the 78-year-old will step aside as leader of the Democrats as early as 2020 and no later than 2022. Theresa May continues as Prime Minister of Britain. BBC America reporter Katie Kay says that doesn't mean the PM's job will get any easier.
There is no plan on Brexit that a majority of Parliament wants, and that is still the reality after she survived that very dramatic day yesterday.
She's in Brussels. May is in Brussels today holding more talks on the issue. We're following a developing story in the suburbs as High School District 211 teachers could go on strike as early as next Tuesday over stalled contract negotiations. Students are scheduled to take final exams for the first semester Wednesday, December 19. A walkout could happen on the 18th. District 211 is the largest high school district in the state. Conant, Fremd, Hoffman Estates, Palatine, and Schaumburg high schools all involved. Chicago sports, Blackhawks snap an 8-game losing streak with a 6-3 win against the Penguins, while the Bulls and Magic battle in Mexico City tonight. The news is a service of Lowe's. Come into Lowe's for the perfect gift and save $100 on Cobalt 2-tool 24-volt max cordless combo kits, now just $129. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Offer valid through 12/24 while supplies last. See store for details, U.S. only. 7:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
All right, if your roof's needy, you can call Crumweedy. Hey, Sean Hannity here. If your roof is leaky, if the shingles are curling, or if your roof isn't right after storms, then you need to call Crumweedy with roofing companies, and the difference is, of course, installation. Now, Crumweedy, they know that, and that's why they follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact, and many companies don't do that, and that could void your warranty. If you hate high-pressure sales tactics, not from Crumweedy. They give you good, better, best options. You make the choice, no pressure. Crum Weedy is a roof that lasts at a fair price. Now, Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crum Weedy, they lead this third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953. Now, they fix roof problems, so if your roof is needy,
Call Crum Weedy.
That's 630-595-8020. That's 630-595-8020. They're online, of course, at myroofisneedy.com.
Hey, guys. Oh, yeah. It's hard to be perfect, right? Especially when it comes to finding that great Christmas gift for your wife or girlfriend. But this year, you can score a perfect 10 with her, with all the new Perfect 10 pajamas from Pajamagram, America's PJ experts. Because Perfect 10 pajamas are created to be the PJs of her dreams. It feels like silk, only softer, gentle, relaxing touch. She'll love it. And you'll score because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging, delivery by Christmas guaranteed, lifetime guarantee, so you risk nothing on those Perfect 10 pajamas. So get yours today by going to pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs. That's 1-800-GIVE-PJs. And be sure to tell them that Dan and Amy sent you.
When you're ready to purchase firearms and accessories, there's only one place, Schrank's Smoke & Gun in Waukegan. And now is a great time. Schrank's is celebrating their 20 days of Christmas sale. Every day through Christmas is a different deal. And if you're not sure what to buy for that special someone, Schrank's expert staff is always happy to help. They'll get you the right stuff. You'll avoid Cook County firearm and ammo tax with just a short drive north. And find the largest selection of new, used, and consignment firearms in Lake County. Plus, excellent gunsmithing at Schrank's, so you can take care of your investments. Schrank's 20 Days of Christmas sale has cigar lovers set up too. Be sure to stock up for the holidays from Schrank's Humidors. Visit smoke.gun.org for the daily deal calendar. You can also get daily specials on firearms, ammo, holsters, clearance items, cigars, and more on Schrank's Facebook and Instagram pages. Don't miss the 20 Days of Christmas sale at Schrank's Smoke & Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964. Call 847-662-4034 or online at smoke.gun.org.
7:38. Let's get an update on the roads. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim Talamonte.
Southbound Tri-State traffic is crawling from Washington to Bradley Road after an earlier crash. The northbound side, delays from Southwest Highway to Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams and Reagan Tollways are okay. Northbound Veterans North, stop and go 75th for the Reagan Tollway. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 28. Kennedy, 45 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 20 from Montrose, same on the Express. Outbound 39 minutes to the airport. Got Eisenhower delays at St. Charles. 52 minutes, 390 to downtown. 35 from Manheim. Outbound 37 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Bryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 30 minutes, siding to the merge. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Turning out cloudy later today, high 42, although we will start with a little sunshine this morning. On and off rain and drizzle overnight, low 36. 25 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy J. this morning, Kristen McQueary, Chicago Tribune editorial board. Yesterday, Michael Cohen getting a 3-year sentence for general mookery of an illegal nature. Tax fraud, bank fraud, dubious plea to campaign finance violation. 3 years, $1.4 million in restitution, another $50,000 fine. Here was Jonathan Turley reacting. George Washington law professor Jonathan Turley reacting to the judge's sentence.
I think he got a good sentence from his perspective. I wouldn't have been that generous if I were the judge. He had two aggravating conditions or criteria that the prosecutors raised that I thought probably should just negate any cooperation he gave. He also had divided prosecutors. Some said he wasn't very cooperative. Mueller says he is. But the judge gave him as good a sentence as he could possibly have hoped for. For those of us who've been longtime critics of Michael Cohen, and I certainly am among them, this is not a fall from grace, because I can't remember a time when he was in a state of grace.
Taxi King, remember all that scandal?
Yes, taxi medallions here. Turley added in an op-ed that Cohen's belated effort to cooperate with prosecutors without a formal agreement was an effort to play Mueller the way he played Trump, making himself useful in the hope of becoming indispensable, but he's going to come up one hustle short. Well, he did as best as he could under the circumstances of all of his hustles collapsing in on themselves. But again, as Turley points out, I mean, this is Trump's mook. He made the choice to associate with Michael Cohen for more than a decade.
The president does bear responsibility here. He picked Michael Cohen, and Michael Cohen never had a good legal reputation. He never had a reputation as someone who was a particularly good lawyer. He was a bit of a thug, and the president hired him. And so there's no escaping that.
There's not.
He was a fan of Trump and had read Art of the Deal and then bought a few, I think, Trump properties, and that's how they sort of ended up in bed together. But I don't think he was. I don't think they were buddies because he was a really skillful lawyer.
No, he was a sycophant, and as Turley seems to intimate, he hustled Trump because that's what he is. He's a slime merchant.
He
He's an
made
influence
millions
peddler.
off of Trump, though, and I think that's why you get such a acerbic reaction from Trump when you talk about Michael Cohen.
Well, I understand because he got played.
Mhm.
And Trump thinks he's too smart to get played. Well, certainly not in this case. In his elocution, Cohen.
Make sure if you're going to do it, you have to kind of do the weepy voice too, because he was crying as he was. No,
I don't know if I have that kind of range.
Try. Let's see.
I blame myself. No, see, I don't. I blame myself for the conduct which has brought me here today, and it was my own weakness and a blind loyalty to this man that led me to choose a path of darkness over light. Well, I'm so happy that Michael Cohen is converted, found the path of righteousness. And that's not me saying it. That is an authority on righteousness like Lanny Davis, saying there's been a real conversion. Otherwise, somebody with Lanny Davis's impeccable reputation would have never represented Michael Cohen.
Is it wrong that as I was watching him come and go from the courthouse, and their daughter has some sort of like a hip injury, sure she had a crutch, and I was thinking I could just picture him as they were leaving the house, like, you're carrying this crutch, okay? It was part of the whole,
I think,
building of
sure.
sympathy.
I saw the Brady episode with the neck brace, and then you have to throw the suitcase to get it. It would have been great to, for a moment like that, rip the crutch away. But I think Lanny Davis should be forced to serve those 3 years with Michael Cohen just on principle, since they're sort of the same person, just separated by one political era. Here's the other thing, though. So Trump has gotten beaten up a lot by his choice of associates, from Cohen to Manafort to Stone.
Corey Lewandowski.
I mean, some people who've been indicted and some people who haven't, but quality of person, generally speaking, whether or not they've pled guilty to anything or not at this juncture. And that's fair. It's fair game. But there's something else that's fair game. And that's the quality of associates of the administration that preceded Trump. That would be President Obama. And the quality of people at the upper reaches of the FBI who have a lot more power than ever did Manafort or Stone or Cohen.
Or the IRS.
Mm-hmm. Another good example. This piece is out yesterday with the release of 302s, these investigatory notes from FBI of their investigation, their interviewing of General Michael Flynn, right, who's pled guilty to one count of lying to the FBI and been recommended for community service by Mueller. Mm-hmm. The Flynn entrapment, opines the Wall Street Journal, editorial board. Mr. Flynn pleaded guilty to avoid bankruptcy and spare his son from becoming a legal target. Right. The Flynn filing describes a January 24th, 2017 meeting with two FBI agents when Flynn supposedly lied, even though you recall, again, Strzok, who's one of those agents, said after the fact he didn't believe Flynn lied to him. But here we go. It turns out the meeting was set up by Andy McCabe, deputy FBI director, who is the subject of a criminal referral by the DOJ Inspector General.
Still, that's
Pending.
still dragging?
Pending. So McCabe sets it up. By McCabe's account, on the call to Flynn to set up the sit-down, he told Flynn, quote, he felt we needed to have two of our agents sit down with him to talk about his Russian communications. He urged Flynn to meet without a lawyer present. Quote, I explained that I thought the quickest way to get this done was to have a conversation between Mr. Flynn and the agents only. I further stated that if General Flynn wished to include anyone else in the meeting, like the White House counsel, for instance, that I would need to involve the Department of Justice. Mr. Flynn stated that would not be necessary and agreed to meet with the agents without any additional participants. According, again, to the FBI summary of the interview, McCabe and the FBI officials, quote, decided the agents would not warn Flynn that it was a crime to lie during an FBI interview because they wanted Flynn to be relaxed, and they were concerned that giving the warnings might adversely affect the rapport. We also know that was FBI Director James Comey's idea. He said, Comey, this is something I probably wouldn't have done or wouldn't have gotten away with in a more organized administration. Comey boasting on MSNBC this past weekend in the Bush administration, the Obama administration, if the FBI wanted to send agents in the White House to interview a senior official, you'd work through the White House counsel. There would be discussions and approvals of who would be there. And I thought it's early enough. Let's just send a couple of guys over and try and catch him. Essentially is what he's saying. He didn't say try and catch him. I added that. But that's the rest of that is what Comey actually said on MSNBC. So the Journal opines if the goal was to set a legal trap, it worked. The FBI agents had seen transcripts of Mr. Flynn's conversation with the Russian ambassador that were unmasked by Obama administration officials. Oh, by the way, illegal.
Right. The unmasking issue is not explored enough in the context of all of these accusations.
The 302, the interview notes, says that the meeting says that rather than flag this, that they had seen transcripts of the conversations with Russian Ambassador Kislyak and asked Flynn for an explanation, the FBI decided before the meeting that if, quote, Flynn said he did not remember something they knew he said, they would use the exact words Flynn used to try and refresh his recollection. If Flynn still would not confirm what he said, they would not confront him or talk him through it.
So, I mean, this is making the case that this was not entrapment legal, but all of the ways that they try to massage witnesses or get them to fall into their traps.
Yeah. And I mean, you could say General Flynn is a general. He's been around the racket for a long time. He should have known better than to go sit down with the FBI without legal representation present, without tipping off the White House or White House counsel's office so that they could control that process. So that was sort of an amateurish mistake. Okay. But what about the quality of the people at FBI? The senior leadership of FBI in the Obama administration to the transition before Comey was fired and this all started to unravel. Strzok and Page, McCabe. What about the quality of the people at Justice? Bruce Orr. What about the standard here of foreign interference in the election? Where's the prosecution of Christopher Steele, the dossier producer based on work with Russian operatives to compile the quote-unquote unverified, the quote-unquote intelligence, all unverified, all unsubstantiated, at the behest of the Clinton campaign? How's that not Russian collusion by the standards we're trying to apply here? What about Bruce Orr failing to disclose his wife's relationship to Fusion GPS?
Sure.
When we're talking about failures to disclose, whether it's campaign finance or filing the right paperwork under the foreign under the laws that govern foreign agents.
Yes, all of this web that you're describing, and yet what is possibly going to be the outcome? And Andy McCarthy says that in looking at all of the paperwork on Cohen, that he expects Trump will be indicted on this. So all of this
potentially
and
after
he's potentially
leaves
going to be
office.
Indicted on a campaign finance violation.
Meanwhile, I mean, and this continues. So, I mean, you want to talk about the thugs and the ne'er-do-wells because they have fancy titles, because they hide behind a shield that we're sort of disposed to confer respect. FBI, prosecutor, law enforcement. We're predisposed to respect, to give the benefit of the doubt, right? Well, when the conduct says we shouldn't, then we shouldn't. And it doesn't implicate everybody. It implicates the specific people we're talking about. How about New York State's incoming Attorney General? Did you see what she said? Letitia James? She told NBC News, "We will use every area of the law to investigate President Trump and his business transactions and that of his family as well. We want to investigate anyone in his orbit who has, in fact, violated the law." They're going to hide behind this and say, hey, look, we're just looking for lawbreakers because we've got some examples of lawbreakers, the Cohens of the world, and the Gates and Manafort and I guess Papadopoulos. I mean, many of these process crimes that are the result of Mueller's investigation, not the product of it. Letitia James, the incoming state attorney general, she's basically saying, I'm going to weaponize my office to focus on everybody on Trump, and we have the people, now we're going to find the crimes.
Sounds like a case for the ACLU to me.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Dershowitz has the drop on them in the Trump
I mean,
era. But that's where we're at now.
Well, she's basically saying, I'm going to launch a witch hunt, which is exactly what that's the exact language that Trump uses. And so they just feed into his narrative by their behavior.
Well, and let me tell you something. If this is where we're going, which is show me the man and I'll show you the crime, Soviet style, then if and when he's impeached, if and when he's indicted post-presidency, you think that precipitates real unrest in this country? Because it's about Trump as a representation of what's wrong. It's not about going to die on a hill for Trump necessarily.
No,
it's about what he represents.
Right. It's much, much broader than that. And to Trump, I think yesterday he was either tweeting or interviewed and saying he did not anticipate impeachment, and because it would, there would be significant pushback. And he has this. He actually, his gut is always kind of right, and I do think that if there was an attempt to impeach over a campaign violation by members of Congress who themselves have, many of them, fallen under FEC violations or under investigation by the ethics committee or turned up in that Crew annual report of very questionable ways that they collect and spend their money,
or the settlements for sexual harassment cases out of these slush funds in the House and the Senate.
Yes. They have their family members on payroll. Many of them use their campaign funds for campaign cars and leases, and they never actually have a campaign. They don't even have an opponent, but they have all this largesse from their campaign funds. I mean, if we're going to go down that route and then we end up with an indictment or a possible impeachment effort against the president for this, which I would argue is still very questionable whether it was even a campaign expense, I do think the American people would see through that.
Dan and McHenry.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
I would say I would agree with Dan. We're not dying on a hill for Trump in that case. I'm saying the people that are the American people that would have a huge issue with this would be the ones that would be for American principle, for American liberty, and what does that mean? And that's what's being defiled here. That's what's being destroyed here, and that's in the confidence in the government to respect that is being vacated. So that's what's being done here, and that's what bothers me, because I hear everybody talking about all these massive overreaches by the FBI, total disregard for the Constitution, and none of these people will be prosecuted. Nothing will be done.
Thanks for the call, Dan. We'll see when William Barr gets there. Hopefully won't be the case, but I'm inclined to think it will be, unfortunately.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The following is a paid announcement.
Now, Geiger Wealth brings you Retire with Confidence.
Thanks for joining us today, where once a week we get together to talk about retirement planning. Bill Geiger, welcome. I know that your firm focuses on working with couples in their late 50s to early 60s, preparing them to retire with confidence. So what exactly should they be doing differently at this stage of their lives?
Mike, if you're a couple in your late 50s to early 60s, you really have two big jobs to do right now. The first one is to make sure you don't have a big loss. This close to your retirement, if you think about it, Mike, at this stage of their life, most couples have more money than they've ever had before. And it kind of makes sense, right? And the last thing that they want at this stage of their life, this close to retirement, is to have a big loss, a 2008 type loss, for instance.
That could be devastating, Bill.
Absolutely, for obvious reasons, but also at this stage of your life, your second big job is you want to begin developing a source of dependable, sustainable income that you know how you're going to pay your bills for the rest of your life. And if you have that big loss, you may not have the monies available to set up that source of dependable, sustainable income. So the two big jobs that you have, to summarize, is one, protect what you have. Don't have a big loss. Number two, begin developing a dependable, sustainable income stream that you can count on for the rest of your life. So you know how you're going to pay your bills, you can keep from running out of money, and you can leave a legacy. That's retiring with confidence. Mike, I know you're going to talk about this in just a moment, but for the next 5 couples who call in today who have at least $500,000 in their retirement portfolio, we're going to do on a complimentary basis a full-blown retirement plan for them. We're going to work with them on how to set up a plan so they know how to protect what they have, so they know how to create a dependable, sustainable income stream, and so they know, maybe for the first time ever, have that confidence to know that they have a game plan to move themselves into retirement.
Bill, this is a fantastic opportunity because, folks, nothing can be more frustrating than working hard your entire life, saving as much as possible for retirement, then having no idea how you're going to make your life savings last 20 to 30 years or more. Bill and his team at Geiger Wealth can help. They're going to sit down with you personally to create a full-blown plan for your retirement. Folks, this is up to a $3,000 value. It's complimentary for the next 5 couples who have at least $500,000 saved for retirement. Call 800-681-2498. Again, that's 800-681-2498. Together with you, Bill and his team are going to sit down and translate the complex financial planning process into easy-to-understand steps with a roadmap to help you get to where you need to be. Call Geiger Wealth right now for your complimentary, personalized, full-blown retirement plan. 800-681-2498. That's 800-681-2498.
Geiger Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance offered through DeBlanco Inc.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Kristen, and coming up at 8:08, Kristen, tell you what, Tiny Dancer is sick of these politicians kicking our problems down the road. It's time to do something about pensions and all that jazz. But first,
I heard it straight from Hit the Source.
Yeah, no more excuses, to borrow a line from Bill Daly, another change agent. We'll talk about that, but now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
A man shot inside of a Bridgeview funeral home, and there is a potential teachers' strike brewing in the suburbs. WIND Chicago News Time, under clear skies and 26 degrees, is 8 o'clock.
He never directed Michael Cohen to break the law. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what President Trump just tweeted. His first reaction to his ex-lawyer and so-called fixer being sentenced to 3 years for numerous charges, including campaign finance violations for payments to keep women who claim to have had affairs with Donald Trump silent. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
The president writing on Twitter, many campaign finance lawyers have strongly stated that I did nothing wrong with respect to campaign finance laws, if they even apply, because this was not campaign finance. He continued, Michael Cohen was guilty guilty on many charges unrelated to me, but he pled to 2 campaign charges which were not criminal. Cohen was sentenced to 3 years in prison and implicated the president in his campaign finance violations, telling prosecutors that his $130,000 payment to the porn actress Stormy Daniels was made at the direction of and in cooperation with the president. Dave?
John, there in morning in Charlestown, Indiana, after a police officer was killed last night chasing a man who fled a traffic stop. The car hit a tree after going off the road. Police later found the suspect, arrested him on numerous charges. In West Virginia, that was after 3 people who went missing in an abandoned coal mine over the weekend were rescued alive last night.
This was an outcome that I really, truly, in my heart, didn't think would happen.
It's Governor Jim Justice. The 3 are said to be okay. Janet Jackson's a rocker.
Give me a beat!
She'll join her brother Michael in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And the Zombies are joining her.
It's the time of the season.
Stevie Nicks also got in for her solo work outside Fleetwood Mac, another inductee. Def Leppard, Radiohead, The Cure, Roxy Music also voted into the Rock Hall of Fame. The ceremony will be held in March. This is Fox News.
Skies are clear this early morning. Clouds develop later in the day. 26 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Authorities are investigating after threatening graffiti was found at a high school on Chicago's North Side. Message referenced a shooting on December 14th at Lincoln Park High School. Security has been increased. A man wounded after he was shot inside of a funeral home in Bridgeview. Shooting happened last night at the Hahn Funeral Home in the 8200 block of South Harlem Avenue. Multiple people were inside the funeral home at the time of the incident. High School District 211 teachers could go on strike as early as next Tuesday over stalled contract negotiations. Union officials said late yesterday. John Bruglia of the Northwest Suburban Teachers Union believes a strike can be averted through the union's willingness to consider a federal mediator's suggested resolution. However, the board has not demonstrated much interest in that mediated proposal. District 211 is the largest high school district in the state. Conant, Fremd, Hoffman Estates, Palatine, and Schaumburg high schools all involved. Mayor Emanuel is laying out his dream plan to help the city deal with the growing pension crisis. Speaking yesterday to the city council, the mayor proposed using revenue generated by legal marijuana and casino funding to help fund pension payments, set to increase by $1 billion annually in 2023.
Simply put, leaders in the past made commitments without the resources to back them up. And now, inevitably, the bill has come due.
Meantime, the mayor is suggesting a Port District site on the far southeast side is a possible location for that casino. Chicago sports, Blackhawks snap an 8-game losing skid with a 6-3 win over the Penguins. Bulls and Magic in Mexico City tonight. It's 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Apple is expanding with a major new facility in Austin, Texas. There will be 5,000 new positions at the campus, including engineering, research and development, operations, finance, sales, and customer support. Apple also plans smaller new offices in Seattle, San Diego, and Culver City, California, and Apple is planning to add jobs in other cities, too. General Electric is launching a new independent Internet of Things software company, and GE is also selling its majority stake in ServiceMax, another software unit. Private equity firm Silver Lake is buying the operation. Toyota is recalling various cars from the 2003 to 2005 model years because their replaced Takata airbag inflators are also defective. The Dow rose 157 yesterday. NASDAQ added 66, S&P up 14. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
It's 8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I'm Dan Proft.
And I'm Amy Jacobson.
And we want to tell you about an opportunity for you to promote your business and to make a difference this Christmas season.
We're talking about our Food for the Poor Business Benefactor Program.
We've partnered with Food for the Poor to provide food and clean water to several thousand children this year in the Caribbean and Latin America, where it's desperately needed.
And your business can be a part of this. Become a Food for the Poor Business Benefactor by making a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. When you do that, AM 560 will give you 40 60-second commercials to air right here on AM 560 The Answer between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday at no additional cost to you.
That's the best advertising deal in all of Chicago. To take advantage of this deal, just call Anjanette Natkowski at 847-472-8951. Again, that's Anjanette at 847-472-8951. One more time, 847-472-8951.
Are you looking for the perfect gift? I hope you'll check out Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville. I love these guys. Mike Gallagher here at Roland's. Not only do they care about making America great again, they also care about making your holiday moments memorable. You know, buying jewelry is about trust. Roland's is the go-to place. You're going to see why when you visit RolandsJewelers.com or head to downtown Libertyville to work with them in person. It's no hassle. They'll show you pieces from the top designers, Simon G. with beautiful pendants. The Hearts on Fire diamond earrings are a great choice. Italian designer Roberto Coin's collection is gorgeous. Ken over at Roland's is offering up to $500 for AM 560 The Answer listeners. Not just for jewelry, but luxury timepieces, like the watch I wear from Roland's, Shinola, or Longines, or Tag Heuer. Your choice. Roland's Jewelers makes your gift-giving easy. RolandsJewelers.com. Let them help you in-store in downtown Libertyville. Roland's Jewelers is a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
It's the holiday sales event at Ford. It's a big deal, and we're busy making preparations to get you the best deals of the year. Because unlike Santa's presents, ours don't just magically appear. At Ford, ours are built in real factories, where pickup trucks come with best-in-class towing and payload, where SUVs are built with available features like terrain management and driver assist technologies, and where every bolt, stitch, and line of code is tested and tested again. But you don't have to write Santa a letter to get these presents. Naughty or nice, just come see your Ford dealer during our holiday sales event for our best offers of the year. Ford, built for the holidays. Built Ford proud.
Best-in-class towing and payload when properly configured. Class as light-duty pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
It's 8:08 and a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Kennedy inbound delays start at Nagel. It's 48 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 28 from Montrose, 25 in the Express. Outbound 42 minutes to O'Hare. Eden's 20 minutes Lake Cook Junction outbound 28. On Eisenhower, delays start at St. Charles. An hour and 2 minutes, 390 to downtown. 46 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 37 minutes to 390. Stevenson is an hour, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 37 minutes. Ryan 35 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Tri-State gummed up from 132 to Bradley after a crash. Northbound from Southwest Highway to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to Lawrence. Veterans Memorial, southbound tight North Avenue to Roosevelt. Northbound heavy I-55 to the Reagan Tollway and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Steve Williams.
Turning out cloudy today, a high at 42. Some rain and drizzle for tonight, low 36. Morning rain tomorrow. Otherwise, it'll be a cloudy day, the high 44. Sun and clouds Saturday, high 43. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
27 at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Tiny Dancer on his way out the door come May. He's been mayor for 7.5 years, been in Chicago politics for 3 decades. And so he knows of what he speaks when he talks about politicians kicking the can.
Simply put, leaders in the past made commitments without the resources to back them up. And now, inevitably, the bill has come due.
Courage, foresight, your descriptors, your adjectives, Kristen McCreary, for Tiny Dancer's profound address to the city council yesterday.
I don't think courage quite captures it. Obviously he's leaving, so now he's going to call for a constitutional amendment. He also is still talking about borrowing $10 billion to infuse the pension funds, which every financial institution has said is a terrible idea. He did tie revenue streams to some of the funds to stabilize them during the course of his term, but like the tone deafness of doing this on your way out is just, I don't get it. What's the point?
Maybe he's trying to give some guidance to some of the young upstarts that are running for mayor in 19, like Bill Daley. Some of these new kids with fresh ideas that want to advance structural change, like Bill Daley, like Tony Preckwinkle, the new kids on the block.
Daley actually does say he supports changing the Constitution. I mean, all of this is just the chances of this state and this legislature putting a constitutional amendment to take away the strength of that pension clause is probably like 2%.
What if they paired it? What if they paired it with graduating the state income tax? They also amended the that pesky and I would say inappropriately interpreted clause in the Constitution about pensions for benefits not yet earned. Made that clear. What if they did some pension language cleanup in the Constitution with a graduated state income tax that so many of the progressive left want? They could do them both. That could provide political cover for the tax increase.
That would be the fairest way to do it, but that still requires taking on the public employee unions to dismantle that clause. And I just see absolutely no courage in doing so. People are already coming, not even just putting it on the ballot. And remember, that's what we're talking about. Put it on the ballot and let us decide. Put it on the ballot and allow the unions to work against it and lobby hard and explain why the pension clause shouldn't be changed. But we just had the Supreme Court of Illinois codify a ruling that allowed people who abused the pension code, people who were union leaders who then used their union salary as the way that they get compensated out of the city worker pension fund, and said that, well, because the law was vague, we are going to rule liberally in allowing those pensions to also be, constitutionally protected. So, I mean, I view, like you're saying, a constitutional amendment as the only way to save the state and municipalities. But the idea of lawmakers, because, it doesn't require Pritzker's signature. Who cares what members of the council say? It'd be nice if a mayor got on board. But it's really the state House and Senate members who need to be the pressure points to put this on the ballot. They can do it with a 3/5 vote.
I thought they already fixed this with Edgar's pension ramp. Put together it was a 50-year funding schedule. The ramp was to start in 2010, and we'd be 90% funded state pensions by 2044. So we're about halfway there. Everything going according to plan?
Let's see. I think the unfunded liability just jumped from COGFA, which is the nonpartisan, trusted source. Now we're up to like $133 billion in unfunded pension liabilities. So I would say no, it's not. It's not really working.
1994 in constant 2018 dollars, it was $25 billion.
Yes.
Now it's $130 billion. So we're ramping up the unfunded liabilities. Isn't that what we were intending to do?
Well, even now, as we are actually making statutorily required payments, not actuarially required, but we are making statutorily required payments into the fund as a state.
Yeah.
And the unfunded liability is still going up. So what does that tell you? We cannot dig ourselves out, but there are still so many people out there who think we can.
Well, also, too, I mean, it's not just the pensions. Also, it's healthcare.
Yes.
Liabilities that have been
also constitutionally protected now.
Right. They've been promised. They're being incurred on a daily basis. Wirepoints.com did a look-see at that. And finds that right now, based on the liabilities that have accrued, we should have $73 billion set aside for those guaranteed health care benefits for public sector workers. And in classic pension ram fashion, the state currently has zero set aside. So slightly less than $73 billion that actuaries say we should have to fund the liabilities we're incurring.
Do you think a constitutional amendment, if they paired like you're describing, graduated income tax and pension clause on the ballot, do you see that as something this state would pursue? Is there a movement that could be goosed to get that to happen?
No. What are you talking about? Are we talking about Illinois?
Well, I'm just
No.
so if legislators, if these municipal,
All we have to do is legalize marijuana.
it's not just a Chicago casino, Dan. Rockford's going to get one. Waukegan, South
Casinos
suburbs,
everywhere.
Just one on every
Casinos
corner.
everywhere. But let's bring back Blagojevich's Keno, too, so you can put Keno in all the restaurants downtown. Prostitution, that's got to be legalized.
And taxed, of course.
Well, of course. Just give me my cut. Do whatever you want as long as I get my cut. And then why not? I mean, we already know how great marijuana legalization is from the experience in Colorado and Washington. Eye roll. So let's skip ahead. Let's be forward.
You know what? Now that you mention it, California is talking about taxing texts. Depending on how many times a day you text, you're taxed on that.
Yeah,
so
for good. Tax for sure. We've already got the cloud tax here, so that's good. Cook County is reinstituting the parking app surcharge, so that's good. I mean, obviously we need to bring back the sugary drink tax. That seemed popular.
Yeah.
But I think legalize hard drugs. So here's what we do. Legalize heroin and use the money we raise from legal heroin to fund the opioid crisis.
Yes.
To provide treatment
Healthcare.
for opioid addicts.
Exactly. That's what we do.
Right.
We institute more gambling, and then it helps fund, the 1-800 number so you can
Exactly.
ban yourself from the boat.
I want to prey on you to get my cut, but then I'm going to give you a little back end help for the moral hazards I've incentivized.
Yes, and
it's great.
And Emmanuel, you'll note, does not want to see a casino if he's still around when it comes to be downtown, because I think that'd be a little too unsavory. So we're going to put it in more of like a low-income industrial neighborhood where it can really reap the benefits of preying on people who shouldn't be gambling.
And you put a brothel right next door.
Oh, and a methadone clinic, maybe the heroin next door.
You could have like a whole development there. Yeah, I like
You're
that.
onto something.
Yeah.
A new zoning thing. We need like a rated R zoning district.
Where's LZ Higginbottom? He can spearhead
do it
that,
like
right?
That. Some slum housing too. Some like really low income housing.
Yeah.
That nobody takes care of. All right.
I like that. There's no question. Now, just make sure that's not within a 10-mile radius of Citadel's corporate headquarters. I think
sure.
That's the deal.
Yeah, that would
there.
be a deal breaker.
Uh-huh. Sean from Elmwood Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The real Constitution is the one that's supposed to protect me against corrupt politicians from using laws as weapons to enslave me to a corrupt ruling class, which is really the definition of the Illinois Constitution. So I say your Illinois Constitution should be written on Charmin, because that's what it is to me. It means nothing, because the reality is we have the mobility.
Perfect. It means nothing to you. Thanks for the call, Sean. It means nothing to you. It means nothing to the political ruling class either. We're in agreement.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
It's actually really been helping my system and my lupus and my gastro problems. So I'm actually very happy with the product.
Acid reflux is pretty much under control. That's why I keep taking it.
I have noticed, I'm sleeping better since I started taking the Balance of Nature and all the other things I'm doing.
I can't believe how wonderful your product is. I listened to you guys on the radio for years and years and years, and I listened to all the testimonials. I go, well, it's probably time to give it a try, and I've been just happy as could be ever since.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys, we all know it's hard to be perfect, especially when it comes to finding a great Christmas gift for your wife or girlfriend. But this year, you can score a perfect 10 with the Perfect 10 pajamas from Pajamagram. She'll look and feel like a perfect 10 when she puts on her Perfect 10 PJs. And you'll score a perfect 10 when you put these PJs under the tree. You don't have to wrap because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging, delivery by Christmas guaranteed, lifetime warranty on those bad boys, Perfect 10 pajamas. So go to pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs. That's 1-800-GIVE-PJs and tell them that Dan and Amy sent you.
Hey, are you thinking about the IRS right now? Man, if the IRS is coming after you, your IRS problem is there day and night. You need help to fight the IRS. I recommend you call my very good friend, Attorney Stephen Leahy of Open Tax Resolutions. Hey, he's got a special offer going on right now. If you're not certain about your position with the IRS, he will pull your personal IRS transcripts and find out exactly where you stand for free. Find out where you stand. If you owe back taxes, if you have unfiled returns. Hey, if you're afraid of the IRS, call my friend Steve Leahy now. 312-664-6649. Steve's the host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard every Sunday at 5 right here on AM 560. He's also a really good friend of mine, and I don't know of anybody better in dealing with the IRS. Call him now. Steve Leahy, 312-664-6649. That's 312-664-6649.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I had cancer. I have fibromyalgia, I have nerve damage and fatigue, I have thalassemia, I'm hypoglycemic. So my life since cancer, I've had to learn how to live with it. But starting Balance of Nature, I felt it the first month. I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
If you're not pleased with your child's progress this school year, now's the time to consider enrolling your son or daughter in St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. With an ongoing enrollment program, it's never too late. For years, St. John's Northwestern Military Academy has served young men and is now an excellent co-ed environment. Not a school for troubled kids, but one that will prepare young men and women for college by focusing on rigorous academics and leadership with a safe, secure, and structured environment free from distractions that's conducive to successful learning. St. John's Northwestern Military Academy in the beautiful Lake Country region of southeast Wisconsin inspires personal growth through a commitment to excellence in academics, spiritual, and character development, athletics, and their military traditions. Find out more about St. John's Northwestern Military Academy ongoing enrollment. Call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET. Or visit their website, sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Krista McQuarrie in for Amy this morning, and we want to thank our many business benefactors in our 2018 Food for the Poor campaign to provide food for a year, water for life for 3,000 children in Haiti. AmericanEagle.com, Insure With Us, The Elevator Consultants, 2 Secure Incorporated, Viking Ski Shop in Chicago and Barrington, Amy's favorite, Matthew Hickey, attorney at law, Twin Supplies Company of Oak Brook, Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling, and so many more. And we're pleased to be joined again by Todd Chapman, who's a child advocate who works with Food for the Poor. And Todd, again, just give us a bit of an overview of the substantial part that we, through our listeners, are playing in what Food for the Poor is trying to do to change the lives of so many thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of families in Haiti.
Yeah, so when you give your gifts during this year-end campaign here on AM 560, The Answer, you are literally putting food in the stomachs of starving kids and also providing them with life-saving clean drinking water. These are two of the key things that Food for the Poor provides for people in Haiti and 16 other countries. Been doing that for more than 36 years. And so, when you give that gift, it really is the gift of life. I mean, I think sometimes we hear that too much, so it becomes a little bit trite, and we kind of just say, that's just marketing. No, I've seen it with my own eyes. Kristen's seen the difference that you can make. These kids are starving, not because they have bad parents, just because they happen to be born in the poorest country on this side of the world. I mean, that's the long and short of it. And so, kids going 2, 3, 4 days without eating anything of substance. They're chronically malnourished. They don't have clean, safe drinking water. But you can change that with your gifts to Food for the Poor. And I'm just blown away by all the amazing businesses that are getting on board with this, and just really, really grateful that you have caught the vision of making a difference in the world, of really, taking just a little bit of the amazing blessings and fortunes that we have here in the U.S. and redirecting that. So just really grateful for that.
And I know Amy talks about just that there are no government programs for these people.
Yeah, no safety nets.
There is nothing. That it's total chaos. They had an election when I was there, and I think there were 97 people running, literally. And we drove through villages of families living in mud huts. And they fear the rain because when the rain comes, it washes away everything that they might actually have. And they huddle under trees. And we listened to this woman talk about how Food for the Poor helped build her one of those little homes that had a flushable toilet and a bathtub. And to be able to take a bath privately as a woman for the first time in her life, and she was in her 40s, married, had a couple of kids, but she would bathe in a nearby river. And so just hearing them talk about how they were so grateful, and it was so meaningful to her to have just like privacy, things that we really take for granted. So,
it's we were talking off the air earlier just about how going to Haiti or any country in the developing world as an American, it really is a profound experience because it helps you. At least it's helped me to really recognize how incredibly fortunate we are here in the U.S. And so many things that we take for granted: clean water, food everywhere. We'll stand in front of a stocked refrigerator. My kids did this. I've done this. We don't have anything to eat in this house. We are so incredibly blessed. And then you just think about things like houses. I'll never forget. I was in one of the communities we built in Haiti. We pull up in the bus. All of these elderly Haitian ladies come running out to the bus. They're waving their arms, merci, merci, just shouting and screaming. And they kind of mobbed our bus, and so we got out, not in a bad way, but in a good way. We got out there hugging on us and kissing us, and I noticed one elderly lady, she was rubbing a key on her chain around her neck. And so I talked to the translator. I said, I want to talk to this lady. And so I said, tell me what's going on. Why so excited? She said, I had been praying for just a decent home my whole life. She's in her 60s, right? And she said, finally, God gave it to me through Food for the Poor. And she was rubbing the key, because that was the first time she had ever had a locking door in her life, and then a flushing toilet. First time she'd ever had a concrete floor. Right. First time she'd had cinder block walls. Again, things we take for granted, they just don't have them. And so here during the holiday season, I can't think of a better way just to, tangibly express gratitude for what you've got than to take a little bit and feed a starving child. And, as you give a gift, it only takes $80 to feed a child 2 meals a day, every day for a year through Food for the Poor. And then a part of your gift also goes to help build a water well or a solar-powered water purification unit right there in these villages. 10,000 gallons of pristine water every day, pumps out, 30 to 40-year lifespan. That's the smart way to deliver water. That's why we call it water for life. It really is a life-changing gift.
Importantly, 95 cents on every dollar that's donated goes to the intended beneficiaries, these Haitian families. So it's a hyper-efficient charity. That's why it's 5-star Charity Navigator rated. So it's one of the best returns on your philanthropic dollar that you can find. And I want to thank, again, our servant leaders in the business community, because we can't get to our goal without leadership from the business community. And it's an opportunity for people to do good for other human beings that have so much less than we have in this country, but also do good for your business. That's our Business Benefactor Program. $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. And AM 560 provides your business with 40 complimentary 60-second commercials to market your business to our affluent, successful business owner operators in our audience. 40 60-second commercials that will run prime time broadcast hours on this station, on these airwaves, weekdays 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., and it's easy to enroll. All you do is call our sales manager, Ann Jeanette, at 847-472-8951. Again, 847-472-8951, and she will get you signed up. You can also go to the website, 560theanswer.com, and search the keyword food. So it's very easy to get signed up. We've got dozens and dozens of businesses that we're very thankful already have signed up. Please consider joining them and helping us achieve our goal for all of these families Todd and Kristen were describing from their experiences on the ground. Todd Chapman, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it. Turn it over to Mike Scott for the headline.
Sunshine in Chicago, at least for now. Clouds coming later on in the day. 26 degrees at 8:31. The rate of jobless Americans hit a 49-year low last week, which may potentially ease worries about a slowdown in the labor market and the economy. Initial claims for unemployment benefits dropped to 206,000 for the week ending December 8. Last week's decline in claims, the largest drop since April of 2015. French authorities have identified the gunman responsible for the deadly Christmas market shooting. Reporter Richard Engel is in Strasbourg, France.
Cherif Chekhat, a 29-year-old career criminal born in France. 27 convictions for theft and violence. Police say he became an Islamic extremist in prison.
The manhunt is still underway for Chekhat, who may have escaped to Germany. Theresa May will continue as Prime Minister of Great Britain after surviving a no-confidence vote yesterday. BBC reporter Katie Kay.
There is no plan on Brexit that a majority of Parliament wants, and that is still the reality after she survived that very dramatic day yesterday.
May is tasked with leading that country to an exit from the European Union. Apple will build a $1 billion campus in Austin, Texas, breaking ground on smaller locations in Seattle, San Diego over the next 3 years and expanding in Pittsburgh and Colorado. This morning, City of Chicago officials will announce the Ferrara Candy Company is moving its headquarters and 400 jobs from Oak Brook Terrace to Chicago. Ferrara is owned by an Italian company, but is the company behind Lemonheads and Red Hots and other candies. The company joins Walgreens as the second tenant in the redeveloped post office on Congress Parkway. One man is wounded, shot inside of a funeral home in Bridgeview. Shooting happened last night at the Hahn Funeral Home in the 8200 block of South Harlem Avenue. Unionized flight attendants are set to picket at O'Hare today. The demonstration being held to protest looming staff cuts by Chicago-based United, one of a dozen across the globe. And Cook County leaders are repealing a tax break on parking apps. County commissioners voted yesterday to restore a 6% tax on parking reservations made through apps like Spot Hero. The vote repealed an ordinance passed in October that would decrease the rate to 1.75%. Blackhawks snap an 8-game losing skid with a 6-3 win over the Penguins at the UC. The news, a service of Lowe's. Now at Lowe's, save $50 on a 4-tool, 20-volt cordless combo. It's a kit featuring a drill, an impact driver, a reciprocating saw, flashlight, 2 batteries, and more for just $149. Lowe's, the new home of Craftsman. Offer valid 12/12 through 12/19 while supplies last. See store for details, U.S. only. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I thought I had a sinus headache for a few days, but I had a massive brain aneurysm, hemorrhage of the brain, and a stroke. And I was on my deathbed. I was on a respirator in a coma for 35 days. And 3 months later, I came home in a wheelchair. I had double vision. I had to learn to walk again, to speak again. 1 and 1 is 2, write the alphabet. You know, if I went out and did a little something, I'd come home, I'd be in bed. Now I'm up by like 5:30 in the morning, and I go to the gym. I do shopping. I cook. I have energy all day. I mean, I feel great. overall, my whole outlook, just feeling, my mental aspect, everything is better.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank. I'd like to thank our customers for selecting Signature as their trusted banking partner to help build their businesses. We started Signature in 2006, and we've had the opportunity to meet so many hardworking Chicagoans. From third-generation family-owned businesses on the west side of Chicago to tech innovators at 1871. Signature Bank is proud to work across many different industries in the city and beyond. As the fastest growing, independently owned business bank in Chicago, Signature is always welcoming new customers. I'd love to meet you and learn about your business.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. We all know increasing revenue's tough, but did you know that 100% of main sources of income fail? The odds are 100% that your current main source of income will someday no longer exist. 439 of 1955's original Fortune 500 are no longer around, yet their industries and even their product lines still thrive. What happened to these companies? Simple. They didn't believe that 100% of main sources of income fail. They never added a second revenue model. For years, my friends at Income Store have helped both households and businesses build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
8:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Yep, on Eisenhower's jam starting around Central after earlier car fire. The extension, right shoulder remains blocked at Wooddale Road. It's an hour and 2 minutes from downtown to 390 inbound. An hour and 8 minutes, and it's 47 minutes from Manheim. Eden's 19 minutes, Lake Hook to Junction, up on 36th. Kennedy, 52 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 35 from Montrose, 30 in the Express. Up on 40 minutes to O'Hare. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, up on 37 minutes. Ryan is 38 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 26 minutes, I-80 to the Merge Bishop Ford, 40. Southbound Tri-State Jan, 132 to Bradley. Northbound Southwest Highway to 31st. Reagan, Lloyd Lawrence, and Boston to Central. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Cloudy, 42 today. On and off drizzle overnight, low 36. We'll stick with morning sun and 27 right now. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Kristen McQuarrie from the Chicago Tribune editorial board in for Amy J. this morning. Sports Illustrated annual Inspiration of the Year award goes to Rachel Denhollander, the first woman, female gymnast, to publicly accuse former Michigan State and USA Gymnastics Dr. Larry Nassar of sexual assault. Okay, worthy recipient. Who presented her with that award?
I don't know who.
Is that your Christine Blasey Ford impersonation?
No, but I'm pretty good at that too.
Listen to this introduction.
Good evening. I am honored to speak with you from afar about a woman I admire so much. A woman who suffered abuse as a vulnerable teenage athlete, who found the courage to talk publicly to stop the abuse of others. Her courage inspired other survivors to end their silence, and we all know the result. Rachel Denhollander, I am in awe of you, and I will always be inspired by you. In stepping forward, you took a huge risk, and you galvanized future generations to come forward, even when the odds are seemingly stacked against them. The lasting lesson is that we all have the power to create real change, and we cannot allow ourselves to be defined by the acts of others. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome this year's Sports Illustrated Inspiration of the Year, Rachel Denhollander.
Can I suggest that we are so far through the looking glass that not even Lewis Carroll could imagine the place in which we find ourselves? I mean, you know what they're doing there, right?
Well, if they're trying to equate their two stories, that's quite a leap.
Well, that's exactly what they're doing. That is precisely what they're doing. Okay, but let's just talk about marginal tax rates and border walls. Or do you want to talk about our larger culture? Boy, oh boy. It's what happens when you surrender on one moral construct so that you can plot your surrender on the next one, which is, I fear, conservatives will continue to do as they've done for the last 50 years. I think the record reflects. For more on this topic, as well as, speaking of surrender, the state of higher education at places not named Oklahoma Wesleyan University, we're pleased to be joined again by Dr. Everett Piper, who is the president of Oklahoma Wesleyan University, also the author of the book, Not a Daycare, The Devastating Consequences of Abandoning Truth. Dr. Piper, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Always my pleasure. Thank you.
Wanted to sort of pick up on not just the Blasey Ford thing, but this Jonah Goldberg column in National Review about legalism versus morality, and Goldberg's thesis statement that we've lost the ability to speak clearly across partisan lines about basic notions of decency and morality, and that includes in academia, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. As you know, I am a critic of my own, and I think I have the right to be. I think those people that can look inside their own operation and say, we've created a monster and we better do something about it, are the people we should probably listen to. And as I've said before on your show, the ivory tower, the academy, the university and the college within the United States has essentially lost its mind. We can't think our way out of a paper bag any longer because we've dumbed down education to nothing but the propagation of our opinions as opposed to the pursuit of truth. And as a result, we've compromised liberty, we've compromised freedom, we've embraced ideological fascism rather than celebrating academic freedom, and the list goes on, to the point where you have the snowflake rebellion that every time somebody doesn't like an idea because it's unpopular or uncomfortable, they can pout, they can rebel, they can declare that they don't want a speaker such as a conservative Jew, Ben Shapiro, at Berkeley. They don't even want to listen to him on their campus. Why? Because he has conservative ideas. There's no other reason to declare him verboten at Berkeley other than they just don't like what he wants to say. This is not education, this is fascism, and that's where the ivory tower is today.
Do you see at any point, because I feel like I'm starting to see this among some of my more liberal-leaning colleagues, that they do recognize that the pendulum has swung too far and that we have overcorrected and that there might be a little bit more room for more courage to talk down people off ledges like that. But are you not really seeing that correction or that pendulum kind of swing back yet?
There are a few. I would say it's still a minority. You look at Peterson from the University of Toronto, Jordan Peterson. He's become quite popular because he said, no, I won't capitulate to these gender-neutral pronouns. I'm going to call people by the proper pronoun, and I won't comply with this new rule at the University of Toronto that was really quite insane. And he didn't do that as a conservative Christian, as I am. He did it because he recognized that it wasn't logical, it wasn't consistent, it was the compromise of language, and that despotic regimes use language to control a population. And he said, quote unquote, hell no, I won't do this. So Peterson rises to fame. When I wrote my critique of and said this is a university, it's not a daycare, I had my 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
As a result of that, I had 3.5 million people comment on that article. Of the comments, 97% were positive and 3% were negative. The poster child, to answer your question, the poster child of the positive was the atheist from the University of Southern Florida who wrote me a letter and said, I don't agree with your religion and I don't agree with your politics, but on this issue, thank you. It needed to be said, carry on. Fulbright scholar, University of Central Florida. So he recognized, even though he disagrees with my Christian faith and my conservative politics, that something is desperately wrong, and he was willing to say thank you for calling it out.
Yeah, I'll tell you, though, I'm not sure the pendulum is swinging back. I mean, I know there are academics that are left, like Jonathan Haidt and others that are joining the chorus of sounding the alarm that you've sounded, Dr. Piper. But for as many of those individuals, there's exponentially more in the press corps and academia that are on full tilt fascism, and it's also sort of you mentioned dumbing down, the kind of psychological rationalizing of the dumbing down. There's this piece I wanted to get your reaction to in Time magazine. It's time to tell your kids it doesn't matter where they go to college. Now, on the face of it, I would say, oh, okay, I agree with that to some extent. To some extent, I agree with Mitch Daniels' formulation that it's not how you go to college, or it's not where you go to college, it's how you go to college. But that's not the argument that this gentleman is making, William Stixrud. The problem with the stories we're telling kids about you have to be a good student and go to a highly selective college, he writes, is they foster fear and competition. The false paradigm affects high-achieving kids for whom a rigid view of the path to success creates unnecessary anxiety, and low-achieving kids, many of whom conclude at a young age they will never be successful, adopt a why try at all attitude. He calls what we have a shared delusion. Children are much more energized when they envision a future that is in line with their own values, children's own values, than when they dutifully do whatever they believe they have to live up to their parents' or teachers' or college admissions boards' expectations. Your reaction to that?
It's absurd. He used the word delusion. I would argue he's delusional. It certainly does matter where you go to school. Ideas matter. Ideas have consequences. Richard Weaver, 1948. Lincoln told us the ideas of one generation will become the ideas of the government in the next. The ideas of the schoolroom in one generation will become the ideas of the government in the next. Even Abraham Lincoln understood it matters where you go to college, where you go to school, and what you're taught in that classroom. What your grandmother said, garbage in, garbage out. What you consume ideologically is going to either give you a healthy mind and soul or a diseased mind and soul. Of course it matters where you go to school, and of course it matters who's teaching the class and what you're taught. We see the consequences of bad ideas bearing itself out on the nightly news and on your daily radio show. To say that it doesn't matter where you go to school is the most asinine thing I've heard. That's terrible education. That's not even empirically, it's not empirically defensible. I'm exasperated with that claim, and I think the guy is delusional to even suggest that.
Well, tell us what you really think.
Yeah, good. I like it.
I wonder if you think, in terms of cause and effect, how much of what is happening on campuses started out at home. I have 2 kids, 11 and 13, and I'm really conscious about trying to make sure that they are not over-coddled and that they experience some, not suffering, but, they deal with some of their own issues in a way that is not, putting them in a place where they have a safe space.
Send them to Oklahoma Wesleyan. Dr. Piper will take care of them.
Yeah. I mean, do you see that? Is this a result of sort of the whole helicopter parenting generation, or are they unrelated?
They're totally related. It's a hand-in-glove situation. I can tell you within 5 minutes when I'm dealing with a kid here at Oklahoma Wesleyan or the other universities I've worked with, if the discipline and the confrontation of the student is going to be a success or not, you can tell when you make the phone call to the parent. If the parent supports you and says, yes, I sent him to you because I trust you to help him grow up and become a man, help her grow up and become a woman, then you know that there's good parenting. If the parent immediately starts to blame you and question you and hover around the student to protect him from any consequences from his bad choices, you know this is going to end poorly. And unfortunately, there's becoming more and more of the latter scenario in later days than than it used to be. We all know that. The helicopter parenting, where parents want to be a friend rather than a mom or a dad, is detrimental to the child. There's no question. Parents need to start being parents and stop wanting to be the best friend all of the time. And what exasperates me greatly today when you see parenting is often the parents are allowing the students to set the agenda, their children to set the agenda, for them to set the standards for morality, for example, within the household, rather than them to set the standards and expect the children to measure up. We're told in the Bible to train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he is not to depart. That gives us the responsibility for setting boundaries and setting standards to train up a moral generation to follow us.
He is Dr. Everett Piper, president of Oklahoma Wesleyan University. That should be on the list for the McQuarrie kids and for Amy J's kids, Peyton and Eli. I'll make sure to remind her of that. My imaginary kids, if they ever, are actually take human form.
Right.
He's also the author of the book, Not a Daycare, The Devastating Consequences of Abandoning Truth. Dr. Piper, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Oh, very honored. Merry Christmas to y'all.
Merry Christmas. And he joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you looking for the perfect gift? I hope you'll check out Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville. I love these guys. Mike Gallagher here at Roland's. Not only do they care about making America great again, they also care about making your holiday moments memorable. Buying jewelry is about trust. Roland's is the go-to place. You're going to see why when you visit RolandsJewelers.com or head to downtown Libertyville to work with them in person. It's no hassle. They'll show you pieces from the top designers, Simon G. with beautiful pendants. The Hearts on Fire diamond earrings are a great choice. Italian designer Roberto Coin's collection is gorgeous. Ken over at Roland's is offering up to $500 for AM 560 The Answer listeners. Not just for jewelry, but luxury timepieces, like the watch I wear from Roland's, Shinola, or Longines, or Tag Heuer. Your choice. Roland's Jewelers makes your gift giving easy. RolandsJewelers.com. Let them help you in-store in downtown Libertyville. Roland's Jewelers is a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
I have the perfect Christmas or any other occasion gift for just about everybody on your list. I suggest the MyPillow Holiday 4-pack offer. You can get 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows plus free shipping, all for the normal price of 1 premium MyPillow. Think about that for a second. You can give 1, 2, 3, or even 4 gifts, all for the price of 1. Or if you still don't have a MyPillow for yourself, keep 1 and gift the rest. And the money-back offer is extended through March 1st. Not only that, but you can still get 30% off everything, including the MyPillow mattress topper and pet beds that you've heard me rave about. Just be sure to use the promo code Amy to get the MyPillow 4-pack offer with free shipping and the 30% discount on everything else, including mattress toppers and pet beds. Visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. And don't forget to use the promo code Amy. That's MyPillow.com, promo code Amy.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie capsules contain 100% vine-ripened fruits and vegetables, tested pure with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind. And it is undeniably one of the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. You might ask, how can over 10 servings of 31 fruits and vegetables fit into 6 vegetarian capsules? Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water. Some a little higher, some a little lower. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to take out the water and air, leaving only whole food, which maintains 99.9% of its original nutritional value. Along with diet and exercise, Mother Nature provides fruits and vegetables to help us maintain good health. Make sense? To order, go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751 and use discount code CHICAGO.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. The path to putting a Democrat in the White House runs through God. That's not me saying God favors Republicans. That's potty-mouthed DNC Chairman Tom Perez saying God's faithful disapprove of Tom's faithful because of biblical instruction on pesky issues like life and death. Quoting from Perez's comments on the clergy, that person on the pulpit is saying, ignore everything else that this person, Trump, has done and is doing. We have to focus on one issue of Roe v. Wade. And people buy it because that's their only source. Perez is at once troubled by Americans who think checks and balances apply to the judicial branch and life is a gift from God not to be easily discarded. Perez is additionally unnerved by churchgoers who lean on spiritual leaders working from Western civilization's source material rather than finding their righteous footing from Sister Maddow's Jeremiads. The short of it is Tom Perez would like you to stop attending church because it puts a real crimp in the ability of Democrats to make the state your God.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours right into your basement. This is Gus from Chicagoland Waterproofing. My mission is to identify why your home is taking on water and fix it. I want you to sleep at night during a rainstorm and not worry about your basement filling up with water. Like our client Kim from Mount Prospect.
We had chronic basement flooding and no one could figure out why. During a huge storm, water was pouring in through the window wells of our finished basement and we had to bail out 6 inches of water. We got a bunch of estimates, but Gus's was the most reasonable, plus he knew exactly what the problem was. He put in a full basement drain tile system and an additional sub pump with a backup battery. Chicagoland Waterproofing gave us peace of mind. I like to say, in Gus we trust.
From simple sump pumps to complex storm drainage and crack foundation solutions, Chicagoland Waterproofing's work comes with a lifetime warranty. Plus, a fully licensed plumber is always on staff. Request your estimate today at ChicagolandWaterproofingPros.com or call 847-296-3500.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me, I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Kristen McQuarrie from the Trib Ed Board in for Amy this morning. And Michael Cohen and now Joshua Trump. Everybody's dumping this guy. Joshua Trump is an 11-year-old Delaware boy. He has informed his school that he's going to use his father's surname after using his mother's led to constant bullying, according to Megan Trump, who is still keeping her name, apparently. They curse at him. They call him an idiot. They call him stupid. I pulled him. Listen to what she did. What the father did, Bobby Berto. So I guess it's going to be Joshua Berto now. I pulled him out of school and homeschooled him for a year because of the bullying that he was taking at school because of his last name.
Oh, my gosh. Where is this?
This is in Philadelphia.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, he's in Delaware, but this is a Philadelphia story. 11-year-old Delaware boy, Joshua Trump.
Oh, my goodness. What is this world coming to?
He would like to improve. We were hoping the situation would improve, said both of his parents. But Joshua, quote, hates himself and he hates his last name and he feels sad all the time. He doesn't want to live feeling like that anymore. And as a parent, that's scary. 5 of Joshua's classmates at Tally Middle School were identified as primary culprits. Each was disciplined by the school and apologized.
Wow. I mean, it could hit you and your imaginary kids. You never know. They might want to disassociate from Proft someday.
They won't be the only ones. But, this goes back to this other thing because we were talking about schooling and parenting with Everett Piper from Oklahoma Wesleyan last segment. The other thing is, where are parents teaching their kids to borrow a phrase from Lone Survivor or from American Sniper, to be sheepdogs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you if you see a kid being bullied, you are to rally to the defense of
Right.
anybody being mistreated. And I've a lot of stories where parents are completely abdicate that instruction.
Oh, yeah. I've seen it, and I've seen kids almost have to, switch schools because the bullying got, intolerant. And I can't blame the parents for doing it, but it does have to be taught. You have to teach your kids to be courageous, and I don't think enough parents do that.
She is Kristen McQuarrie, a courageous parent, member of the Chicago Tribune Ed Board, sitting in for Amy this morning. Thank you, Kristen. Now we go to Mike Scott with the headlines.
A Zion man charged in the shooting